Chapter 227. Suzy Xuan wasn't the only one who knew about specialization. Zhao Feng himself obviously knew about it as well. Because of this, he had given up on the slow path of body strengthening. Although this path was strong, it was too hard to cultivate and it would slow down his growth. In the Alliance Convention, there were 4 different areas and the battles were happening at all times. Zhao Feng's gaze wasn't just limited to Area 3. He would also occasionally pay attention to the other areas. This was especially so for the 4 stars. Zhao Feng wouldn't miss any of their battles. He didn't want to miss any of them. Every single one of the 4 rising stars had defeated their opponents in seconds. It was a shocking sight to behold. Of course, Zhao Feng wasn't the only black horse in the Alliance banquet. After that, another 3 or 4 black horses appeared. These black horses weren't famous, but their strength was shocking and they defeated the elites of the Alliance. The ones that Zhao Feng recognized were Bei Moi and Zhao Yufei. Bei Moi and Zhao Yufei were both super geniuses that had received inheritances. Apart from the 4 stars, they could easily defeat everyone else. Apart from Bei Moi and Zhao Yufei, there was also a black horse that specialized in body strengthening called Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan's body strengthening skills had reached a terrifying level where he could fight against those of the 6th sky. The head disciple of the Broken Moon clan, Yang Gan, had displayed shocking performances before, but he lost to Yin Chuan in a battle that lasted for almost 100 moves. Yin Chuan himself was at the 6th sky, and adding on his body strengthening skills, his offense and defense were both extremely strong. This was especially true for his defense, which was even stronger than Yang Gan's. This was the main reason why he could win. The head disciple of the Broken Moon clan is only SOSO. Yin Chuan grinned. After exchanging almost 100 moves, Yang Gan was panting while Yin Chuan's breathing was still stable. The winner was obvious. Yin Chuan was the biggest black horse after Zhao Feng, and he was only below the 4 stars in a short amount of time. Zhao Feng's gaze swept past Yin Chuan, and he didn't pay any more attention to him. Right at this moment, in Area 1, a dazzling sword aura that could not be looked at split open the dark clouds. The unparalleled sword aura suppressed the entire field. The plain-clothed girl had skin as white as snow. Her eyes were empty, and she held a 3-foot-long sword in her hand. She was like a celestial being in a painting. Once again, Song Yue defeated her opponent in 1 move. Every time she made a move, she would attract the attention of the crowd for a brief moment, causing the other battles in the sub-arenas to pale in comparison. However, it was a pity that Song Yue's attacks were too fast and the exchange was too short. No one was able to see the profundities of her moves. However, there was one exception, and that was Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's god-spiritual eyes slowed down the process of the sword by tens of times, or even hundreds of times. In the end, he was still shocked by the unparalleled power of that sword. The power of that sword had probably reached the peak of the 7th heaven. Even normal cultivators at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm would be instantly killed by this sword. Zhao Feng even had an illusion that if he had taken that sword head-on, he might have been killed on the spot. Song Yue's attacks were above all the other geniuses present. Invincible Dugu. In terms of defense, she might not be as good as Yin Chuan and Bei Moi. And in terms of unpredictability, she wasn't as good as Lin Tong and Suzy Xuan. But as long as she had a sword in her hand, she would be able to destroy everything. One sword to destroy everything. This is the Tao of the sword. Zhao Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. Song Yue in front of him reminded him of Xi and Wuheng, who had mysteriously left. Facing Song Yue, not only could Zhao Feng be instantly killed, Lin Tong, Ao Yuetian, and Suzy Xuan could also be instantly killed. If there was anyone who had the chance to fight against Song Yue, it would be Lin Tong. From the beginning to the end, Lin Tong had been insta-killing his opponents. His mental energy was extremely profound, and it even surpassed the hooded figure that Zhao Feng had met. Yang Gan versus Lin Tong. A voice sounded from the second arena. Zhao Feng couldn't help but look over. Facing Lin Tong, who was ranked 2nd, Yang Gan had a bitter smile on his face. Of course, his heart was as firm as a rock, and he didn't give up. Back at the Broken Moon clan, Yangon had been baptized by Zhao Feng's mental energy, and he had a strong resistance towards it. Lin Tong stood where he was, his eyes deep and serene. An invisible cold aura seemed to condense in the void. Yangon's heart shook, and he felt as if he had fallen into an abyss. The cold aura spread from the mental energy dimension, and it made him fallen bit by bit. At this point in time, Yangon's face went white, and he instinctively resisted. After all, he had received training from Zhao Feng, and he had a strong resistance towards mental energy. Lin Tong was slightly surprised. This was the first time that he hadn't instantly killed his opponent. Just this point alone was enough for Yangon to be proud. Yangon struggled, and a light suddenly shot out from his eyes as he waved his long blade and charged towards Lin Tong. Lin Tong was expressionless, and his eyes were like an abyss with a spinning red dot of light in them. Heavenly Absent Eye! Exclamations came from the arena. Even some of the older experts on the spectator stand were moved. Heavenly Absent Eye! The Ancient Shrine's Supreme Secret Manual, a wondrous mental energy secret art that required a special bloodline to train. The moment he opened the Heavenly Absent Eyes, Lin Tong seemed to have become an uncrowned king. The invisible and mysterious power that permeated the void shocked the disciples around the black sand platform. At this moment, Lin Tong had risen to a height comparable to Tsang Yuyue. Not good. Yangon held his breath, and he felt as if his body had been locked. Lin Tong was cold and silent as he glanced at him. Plop! Yangon fell onto the ground, and his body was drenched in cold sweat. Lin Tong didn't do anything. All he did was look at Yangon, and the latter was instantly defeated. The sound of people taking in cold breaths came from the arena. A.O. Yuetian and Suzy Xuan, who were both stars, revealed expressions of wariness and solemnness. The legends are true. Lin Tong's Heavenly Absent Eye can instantly defeat his opponent with just one look. He's too terrifying. Of the 4 stars, Lin Tong is the weirdest. Many of the disciples were dumbfounded. After Yangon was defeated, Zhao Feng and Lin Fan went over to take a look. In terms of mental energy, Zhao Feng had the right to speak. At this moment, Yangon was still in a state of shock and weakness. Brother Yang, your fatigue and weakness come from the mental energy dimension. Where's the spirit recovering pill I told you to prepare? Zhao Feng reminded. Yangon quickly ate a spirit recovering pill, and his complexion started to improve. Luckily, Lin Tong didn't do anything too harsh and didn't injure Yangon's mental energy. Brother Zhao, when I was attacked, I found myself trapped in an abyss, and no matter how I struggled, I couldn't get out. Yangon said with a frightened expression. Oh, looks like this is a mental energy technique. Zhao Feng thought. Why do I feel like a long time has passed? Yangon asked in confusion. The speed of the mental energy dimension is different from the physical dimension. It's like how many memories flashed by in a single thought, but only an instant passed in the real world. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. Speaking of mental energy techniques, this was also Zhao Feng's forte. However, Lin Tong's Heavenly Absent Eye was undoubtedly on a higher level, and his mastery of mental energy techniques was immeasurable. While Zhao Feng was comforting Yangon, Lin Tong coldly watched from not far away. Zhao Feng sensed something and met Lin Tong's deep gaze, but he didn't back down. Instantly, an invisible mental energy aura spread out and the air seemed to be locked. Lin Tong's eyes were dark and unfathomable. Zhao Feng's soul eye was also deep, but it contained an indescribable penetrative power. At this point in time, over at branch field number 2, it was dead silent. Apart from Zhao Feng and Lin Tong, everyone else felt like they were suffocating. No sparring below the stage. An aura of the true spirit realm descended from the sky and crushed down like 10 mountains. Zhao Feng expressionlessly turned around and returned to Area 3. This guy's interesting. Why is my Heavenly Absent Eye trembling in excitement? And his eye patch, Lin Tong murmured to himself. The people nearby let out a long breath as if a heavy burden had been lifted off their shoulders. When Zhao Feng and Lin Tong faced off, the power that suppressed their souls made them feel extreme pain. After this battle, quite a few people became wary of Zhao Feng. The number one black horse's position couldn't be shaken. In the entire younger generation, how many people dared to face Lin Tong? Furthermore, from the looks of it, Zhao Feng and Lin Tong were evenly matched. Area 3. Zhao Feng stood still with his single eye and azure hair. Other than Su Zixuan, everyone else felt wary and even fearful of Zhao Feng. Even Gulan Yue felt uneasy. Her woman's instinct told her that Zhao Feng was an extremely dangerous person. Her eyes twinkled, and she couldn't help but worry if it was too rash of her to list this person as an enemy. From the looks of it, the core disciples of the Broken Moon clan had all performed well. Zhao Feng and Bei Moi were both black horses. Yangon was indeed worthy of being the head disciple. The other representative disciples, such as Lin Fan and Ran Xiaoyuan, had all performed well. On the spectating stand, those from the Lin Moon clan, Silver Moon clan, and secluded Jade Palace that were close to the Broken Moon clan were stunned by the strength of the Broken Moon clan. This was especially so for the Silver Moon clan and secluded Jade Palace, who had performed much better than the Broken Moon clan in the past. But this time, the Broken Moon clan had left these two clans in the dust. The upper echelon of the Lin Moon clan were slightly better. Although the Broken Moon clan's geniuses aren't bad, there's no one who can truly become a star. First Elder of the Lin Moon clan smiled. On the other hand, apart from Ao Yuetian, the Lin Moon clan also had the black horse, Zhao Yufei. At the same time, in an inconspicuous corner of the spectating stand, the group from the Iron Dragon country had been silent the entire time as they coldly watched the alliance banquet with mockery and disdain. The 13 countries are such a small place, and there aren't many geniuses. Apart from the 4 stars, they're still passable. A cold voice sounded. The one who spoke was a mysterious person covered in a black veil, and his face couldn't be seen. On the Broken Moon clan side, aren't the Iron Dragon country and the Sky Rich country fighting? Why do they have the time to watch the alliance banquet? First Elder was slightly puzzled. Right at this moment, a voice sounded from Area 3. Zhao Feng versus Su Zixuan. Chapter 228. Zhao Feng versus Su Zixuan. The alliance banquet once again broke out into chaos as everyone's gazes gathered on Area 3. The most dazzling star of the 13 countries, the elegant and handsome Su Zixuan, stepped onto the black sand stage. Anyone in the alliance's 4 stars would be extremely popular. Screams could even be heard from the surroundings. Of the 4 stars, Song Yue was a girl, and she was too lonely. Lin Tong was cold, mysterious, and emotionless. Ao Yuetian was too arrogant and spoke his mind. Only Su Zixuan was gentle and easy to get close to. He was the most popular and was the perfect image in the hearts of girls. Of course, the reason why this battle was so popular wasn't just because of Su Zixuan's popularity, but also because of his opponent, Zhao Feng, this weird, powerful, and cruel black horse. It could be said that he was the biggest black horse in this alliance banquet. Before, Zhao Feng had almost destroyed Gulan Yue's face, and this had already caused the hatred of some of the males. However, Zhao Feng's strength made the vast majority of people wary and fearful. His battle with Gulan Yue and Tan Lin had proved how powerful and cruel Zhao Feng was. If it was just that, people wouldn't be convinced. However, the short confrontation between Zhao Feng and Lin Tong made him even more mysterious. This was a mysterious youth that even Lin Tong was curious about and filled with battle intent. Amidst the cheers, the azure-haired one-eyed youth stepped onto Area 3. The battle between the 4 stars and the number 1 black horse was worth looking forward to. At the same time, this battle also concerned Zhao Feng's true achievements in the alliance banquet. At this moment, those that were familiar with Zhao Feng all looked over. Yang Gan, Bei Moi, Lin Fan, Ran Xuan, Lu Yuer, the disciples of the Broken Moon clan, all looked towards Area 3. Feng, your goal, your achievements, and the hopes of the Broken Moon clan are all in this battle. First Elder took a deep breath, and he almost held his breath. In his life, the most outstanding disciple was already standing in the most glorious moment in history. Success or failure, it all depended on this moment. Zhao Feng, you are cruel, ignorant, and do whatever you want. If you don't experience some setbacks and discipline yourself, who knows how many innocent people will be harmed. Su Zixuan's handsome face showed a trace of righteousness and sternness. As soon as he finished speaking, it immediately resonated with the youths in Area 3. That's right, this cruel one-eyed man. I must teach him a lesson. He could even do such a thing to a beauty like Gulanyue. If he doesn't suffer a little, he will definitely harm more people in the future. The crowd unanimously condemned Zhao Feng. If it was a one-on-one situation, they would definitely have to tuck their tails between their legs. But now, there was a rising star of the righteous path of the Alliance, standing on the moral high ground, punishing them. It was time for them to be filled with righteous indignation, waving flags and shouting war cries. For a moment, Zhao Feng seemed to become a devil who did all kinds of evil, and Su Zixuan was a young hero who upheld good and punished evil. Seeing Zhao Feng being scolded and his reputation ruined, the expressions of the disciples of the Broken Moon clan became slightly ugly. Zhao Feng was slightly speechless. What had he done? Didn't he just hurt a beauty? This Su Zixuan was indeed amazing. Without even batting an eyelid, he had made him stand on the moral high ground. In this way, his actions of teaching Zhao Feng a lesson in battle would be viewed as righteous, and he would even be praised and praised. Zhao Feng, if you're willing to apologize to Gulanyue and turn over a new leaf, then this battle will still be a friendly spar. I'm also willing to be friends with you. Su Zixuan smiled faintly, his face full of kindness and sincerity. Zhao Feng almost rolled his eyes. This Su Zixuan really knew how to talk. He really did think of himself as a role model, the embodiment of righteousness. Instantly, the crowd became silent. Would this mysterious and powerful youth be changed by Su Zixuan? Would he turn hostility into friendship and turn over a new leaf? Not only Su Zixuan, everyone else was waiting for Zhao Feng's reply. According to logic, a cruel, cold, and powerful youth like Zhao Feng should be unruly, and he would attack. Su Zixuan had even made preparations to defend himself. I'm willing to accept your teachings, however. That will depend on whether or not you have the ability to make me change. A playful smile appeared on Zhao Feng's lips as his azure hair fluttered in the wind, giving off a devilish charm. Willing to accept teachings? The first half of his words caused everyone to pause, but the second half instantly made everyone, including Su Zixuan, enraged. This guy, he was completely flirting with her. Under everyone's gazes, Zhao Feng flirted with everyone, including Su Zixuan. Instantly, Su Zixuan's face darkened, refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Jiang! A golden flying sword flew out from Su Zixuan's back, and it slashed towards Zhao Feng with extreme sharpness. The speed, strangeness, and explosiveness of the flying sword had reached an unbelievable level, and it seemed to express the anger in Su Zixuan's chest. Zhao Feng didn't dare to be careless. Just the power of one flying sword from Su Zixuan was enough to make those at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm unable to block it. Furthermore, Zhao Feng was only at the peak fifth sky. Shua! The golden flying sword slashed Zhao Feng's figure apart, and a crack appeared on the ground. The crowd exclaimed. At the same time, bam! Lightning crackled, and an illusory figure appeared on the other side. What kind of movement skill is that? He managed to dodge Su Zixuan's flying sword. There was a slight ripple in the crowd. The first exchange of blows had already caused everyone's hearts to waver, and they held their breaths. Ever since the start of the Alliance banquet, no one had been able to dodge Su Zixuan's flying sword so easily. This was because the speed of the flying sword was extremely terrifying, and even those at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm would find it hard to dodge. But Zhao Feng had done it so easily. Su Zixuan's expression didn't change as a smile of mockery appeared on his lips. Shoo! The golden flying sword seemed to have eyes of its own and continued to chase after Zhao Feng after missing its target. The Yin shadow cloak on Zhao Feng's back flashed, and his figure became even more illusionary. This time, his explosive speed allowed him to shake off the flying sword. Target, Su Zixuan. The crackling of thunder and lightning reached Su Zixuan first. According to Zhao Feng's plan, since Su Zixuan specialized in flying swords, then close combat was definitely his weakness. Su Zixuan's expression changed slightly. This was the first time someone had reached him since the start of the Alliance Banquet. Zhao Feng's illusion fish lightning arc step had merged the illusion fish picture and the laws of lightning. With the help of the Yin shadow cloak, his speed had reached a whole new level. Pung! Wind and lightning danced as the wind howled and lightning flashed, reaching Su Zixuan's body. In this situation, Su Zixuan didn't panic. An azure flying sword flew out from his back, forming a fan-shaped streak of light that clashed head-on with Zhao Feng. With a tie sound, Zhao Feng's palm was blocked by the flying sword and his body was pushed back by the force. Su Zixuan had 3 swords on his back, which could be said to be both offensive and defensive. Luckily, Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm and lightning caused some trouble for Su Zixuan, and his body became slightly numb. But even then, the golden sword with the highest attack speed also flew over. 2 flying swords, one azure and one gold, formed a pincer attack on Zhao Feng. In such a precarious situation, even the other members of the Alliance's 4 rising stars would face great pressure. Swish! Zhao Feng's figure was as blurry as lightning as he charged forward instead of retreating. Dense arcs of lightning appeared on his palm, and the crackling of lightning became faster. At this moment, the lightning wind palm had been pushed to the 6th level, which was more than twice as powerful as the original 6th level. Facing a genius of the 13 countries, Zhao Feng naturally couldn't hold back anymore. The lightning inheritance was fully unleashed through offense, movement, and internal energy. Ding! Pung! Pung! Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm continuously surged towards Su Zixuan. Azure lightning revolved around Su Zixuan's body, compressing and exploding. Su Zixuan's expression finally changed as a numb feeling spread throughout his body. With Zhao Feng in front of him, he couldn't care about attacking anymore. The 3rd azure flying sword on his back. Clang! With a clang sound, a ripple of water appeared. The azure and blue sword were both used for defense. This way, the golden sword would only be able to disturb Zhao Feng at most. The 2 flying swords formed an impenetrable defense in front of Su Zixuan. The blue flying sword contained the element of water, which made his defense even stronger. Su Zixuan took a deep breath and his expression was solemn. The danger had finally been resolved. Before this, he never would have thought that he would be at a disadvantage. The spectators were all dumbfounded and in disbelief. At this moment, Zhao Feng's explosive speed and offense had reached an unbelievable level. His internal energy and movement skill had all started to display the intent of lightning. How does Zhao Feng have such strong battle power? Such pure power of lightning? The upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan were all stunned. Haiyan Master's expression kept on changing. The battle power that Zhao Feng displayed right now couldn't be described with experience or knowledge. Such pure and profound power of lightning wasn't something that the lightning wind palm could have. Terrifying speed and terrifying offense. It was because of this that Zhao Feng was able to force Su Zixuan, one of the 4 stars, into a disadvantage, even if it was only for a short period of time. This Zhao Feng, how is this possible? Aoi Watian, Bei Moi, Quan Chun, and company were all stunned. Gu Lanyue's face was pale as she looked at Zhao Feng, who was surrounded by arcs of lightning, and her heart trembled. 3-sword formation. Su Zixuan's eyes glowed, and the 3 swords formed a 3-colored net in front of him, which shattered Zhao Feng's attack. No matter how violent Zhao Feng's attack was, it would be destroyed as soon as it got close to the 3-colored net. Being one of the 4 stars, Su Zixuan's strength wasn't so simple. Zhao Feng's expression was solemn. Apart from his bloodline power, He had already used all his strength, but he still couldn't do anything to his opponent. Furthermore, after Su Zixuan's three-sword formation stabilized, it started to counterattack. Once it started to attack, the three-sword formation's power was enough to shatter those at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm. Even someone as strong as Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to face it head-on. Xiao! Zhao Feng turned into a streak of lightning, and his Yin shadow cloak fluttered as he flew into the air. At the same time, a bow and 3 arrows appeared in his hands. Chapter 229. The dark green body of the bow had a faint red glow, and in the middle of it was a blue ice lotus symbol. When Zhao Feng took out the Luoho bow, many people were stunned. In the current Azure Flower continent, experts that used bows and arrows were extremely rare and could be said to be extremely unpopular. Bow! Su Zixuan snickered coldly in his heart. His flying swords could attack from afar and defend from close range, forming the three-sword array. Back then, Ao Yuetian had lost to the three-sword array, and he still hadn't thought of a good way to deal with it. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng had taken out the unpopular bow. If he wanted to use this to deal with his 3 flying swords, he would be dreaming. Jiang! One of the golden swords in the three-sword array shot through the air toward Zhao Feng. Su Zixuan's defensive sword technique was good at both close-range and long-range attacks. Hee! Out of all the weapons, the bow has the longest range. Zhao Feng laughed lightly, and with a wave of his Yin shadow cloak, he increased the distance between him and Su Zixuan. In terms of speed, Su Zixuan wasn't any slower than Zhao Feng. After all, he was at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm and didn't have any obvious weaknesses. However, if Su Zixuan had to control the flying swords while chasing, his speed would be greatly reduced. Although his 3 treasured swords could be controlled from a distance due to some special properties and a unique secret skill, it still required a lot of effort. Soon, the distance between Su Zixuan and Zhao Feng was pulled apart. The array was large enough for Zhao Feng to do what he wanted. What Su Zixuan didn't know was that this mistake would cause the battle to take a huge turn. Su Zixuan's 3 flying swords are all close to the high-grade mortal grade, and they've been smelted to form a single body. Once they form the 3-sword array, their power will be even greater. Zhao Feng realized that Su Zixuan's advantage lay in the profundity of his 3 swords. The 3-sword array's power was too terrifying, and even Ao Yuetian would lose if he faced it head-on. Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm was also unstoppable, unless he could cultivate it to the 7th level. Of the 4 stars, only Cang Yue's invincible sword attacks could break through Su Zixuan's 3-sword formation. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Zhao Feng drew the string of the Raha bow. Lightning crackled and the wind whistled, sharp and ear-piercing, almost breaking through the sound barrier as it pierced towards Su Zixuan. A terrifying cold current mixed with the rumbling of lightning clashed with Su Zixuan's flying sword. 1, 2, 3. Every time they clashed, Su Zixuan's figure would stiffen. The cold current and electric current's corrosion left him speechless. The Luoho bow, after fusing with the profound meaning of the lightning inheritance, had reached a whole new level of power. Moreover, Zhao Feng also had his own left godly archery technique, which allowed him to attack unpredictably. The arrows shot by Zhao Feng would often curve and even deceive the eyes, drilling into flaws and blind spots time and time again. Xiao! 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 What was even more frightening was that the arrows that were shot out would instantly return to the Luoho bow. Like the mother and son, their might was peerless. Lightning and cold current struck Su Zixuan time and time again. He finally felt some regret. He shouldn't have underestimated Zhao Feng. At this moment, the situation was under Zhao Feng's control. Zhao Feng didn't need to clash head-on with Su Zixuan. Instead, he could grind him down like a kite. Without a doubt, the Luoho bow's range was further than Su Zixuan's flying sword. It was already a bit difficult for someone at the Ascended Realm to use the flying sword technique. The reason why Su Zixuan could control 3 flying swords was because of the unique characteristics of the flying swords. In terms of attack range, Zhao Feng's Luoho Bao had an effective range of several miles, and its fastest speed could reach the speed of sound. On the other hand, Su Zixuan's flying sword had an effective range of 20 feet. Any further, and its power would be greatly reduced. More than 50 feet was his limit. Therefore, Su Zixuan was in a situation where he could only take a beating. However, the Luoho Bao contained a powerful cold energy and the numbing attribute of lightning. Under the repeated attacks, his speed was halved. At every moment, Su Zixuan had to split his true force to defend against the cold and lightning. Bung, 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 so. The Luoho Bao's attacks became fiercer and fiercer. One Luoho arrow could defend against one flying sword, and it would quickly return to replenish its energy. The speed and explosive power of each attack had reached the peak. Su Zixuan's 3 flying swords circled around him and blocked Zhao Feng's arrows with ding-ding-ding sounds. In this way, he consumed a lot of energy. On one hand, he had to maintain the 3 swords formation, and, on the other hand, he had to resist the ever-present cold power and electric shocks. Under the constant erosion of the cold and lightning, his body's functions would be damaged, and if this continued, it would leave hidden injuries. Su Zixuan cried out in his heart, but he had already fallen into this situation and there was no way out. The 3-sword formation was already an unbeatable move, and he needed to use his full strength. Once he gave up on the formation, his body would stiffen and his speed would be halved. He probably wouldn't be able to face Zhao Feng's arrows. The spectators were all dumbfounded. They had never seen anyone's archery reach such a terrifying level. Zhao Feng used the distance advantage of the Luoho arrow to kite his opponent. Su Zixuan's 3 flying swords were suppressed in front of him, and he couldn't retaliate at all. Even if he wanted to retaliate, he couldn't because of the distance. Spectating stand, Mystic True Clan's side. The Mystic True Clan's master side. Zixuan was too careless before, and that's why he's in this situation. The attribute of that brat's bow and arrow is very difficult to deal with, making it hard for one to advance. Furthermore, the distance between them has increased, and the advantage of the flying swords has disappeared. First Elder Xianjun couldn't help but sigh bitterly. In terms of fighting head-on, Su Zixuan should be the strongest below Zhang Yue, but he was being suppressed by Zhao Feng's shameless tactics. At this moment, it's hard to say who will win. Zixuan's cultivation has reached the 7th sky, and his true force is pure and dense. If this goes on, that brat might run out of energy. Another elder said. Area 3. The battle between Zhao Feng and Su Zixuan had reached its climax. Su Zixuan was completely suppressed, and he could only focus on defense. His flying swords could both attack and defend. As long as I can hold on, that brat might run out of energy before me, Su Zixuan thought in his heart. However, Zhao Feng used the bow, and the freezing element came from the bow, and the lightning effect came from the lightning inheritance. His energy consumption wasn't high, and he relied heavily on the Luoho bow. On the other hand, Su Zixuan's imperial sword technique consumed a lot of mental energy and forming the 3-sword formation. If this goes on, I have at least a 70% chance of winning, but the light in Zhao Feng's eyes became sharp. The bloodline power in his body merged into the Luoho Bao. Chiu! The arrows that shot out broke the speed of sound, and their power reached a whole new level. Ding ding, pong pong pong. Sparks flew, and cold electricity splashed. Su Zixuan quickly retreated. His blood churned, and his expression changed. Before he could catch his breath, the 3rd Luoho arrow broke the sound barrier and contained a strange mental energy fluctuation. Rumble. Su Zixuan felt the rumbling of thunder amidst the sonic boom, and it was like a lightning dragon that could destroy the heavens, and the earth fiercely charged into his heart. Not good. This arrow also contains a mental energy attack. Su Zixuan's mind shook and his face turned pale. Too late. The 3rd Luoho arrow passed through the gap of the 3-sword formation and created sparks on the sword net, before stabbing into Su Zishuan's shoulder. Pong! Su Zishuan was sent flying by the powerful force of the arrow, and blood splattered everywhere. At the same time, a strong electric current and cold energy spread throughout his body, causing his body to stiffen. "You've lost." Zhao Feng held the Luoho bow, and the 3 arrows slowly landed on the ground. At this moment, Su Zishuan was affected by the electric current and cold energy. If Zhao Feng continued to attack, he wouldn't be able to resist. Zhao Feng wins. The judge at the True Spirit Realm looked deeply at Zhao Feng. Huh. The crowd was thrown into an uproar as everyone stared at Zhao Feng, their faces suffused with shock, amazement, and doubt. In the corner of the spectating stand, the Iron Dragon country sighed. First changing tactics, then completely suppressing the opponent, and then using the opponent's flaws to win. This brat isn't simple. One of the people couldn't help but exclaim. The others faintly nodded their heads as they looked at Zhao Feng's method of winning in surprise. The true deciding factor was the instant bloodline power appeared, and it wasn't a normal bloodline either. The cold voice came from the mysterious person whose whole body was covered by a bamboo hat and black gauze. The people from the Iron Dragon country were shocked, but it was obvious that they trusted this person's words. The Broken Moon clan sighed. Victory! Feng won. First Elder couldn't contain the excitement in his heart. The Broken Moon clan master also revealed a joyful expression. Only Haiyan Master's smile was slightly unnatural. Area 3. Zhao Feng put away his Luoho bow and slowly walked off the stage. At this moment, his every action attracted everyone's attention. The new star of the 13 clans had been born. Wherever his gaze passed, the disciples of Area 3 all lowered their heads with uneasiness in their hearts. This was especially so for Gu Lanyue, whose face alternated between red and green as she didn't dare to look at Zhao Feng. When Zhao Feng beat Su Zishuan, the expressions of the other stars changed. How is this possible? Ao Yuetian's expression was colorful and his voice was abnormal, as if he couldn't accept this reality. Back at the 3 clan party, he didn't even bother to look at Zhao Feng. One had to know that Su Zishuan, whom Zhao Feng beat, was ranked higher than him. Zhao Feng beating Su Zishuan meant that he was on the same level as Ao Yuetian. To him, this isn't strange at all. Zhao Yufei smiled as she said sweetly, as if she wasn't surprised by this result at all. At this point in time, discussions broke out. No one would have thought that the black horse of this generation would reach such a heaven-defying level and become one of the 4 stars. However, there are 2 people who were calm, as usual, Song Yuyue and Lin Tong. Although Su Zishuan was strong, he wouldn't be able to take one sword from Song Yuyue, and he might even be defeated by one glance from Lin Tong. Zhao Feng, I lost this time because I was careless. When the final battle comes, I won't hold anything back. Su Zishuan endured the pain from his wound and said unwillingly. But Zhao Feng just stood there, his azure hair drifting in the wind, not even glancing at him. Next, Zhao Feng was unrivaled in the 3rd area and successfully took first place. Chapter 230. After a few rounds of fighting, the competition in Area 3 finally came to an end. First place, Zhao Feng 2nd place, Su Zishuan 3rd place. Gu Lanyue amongst them. Zhao Feng, the Black Horse, had created miracles with each step and toppled everyone's knowledge to become the new star of the Alliance. At the same time, the other battles had either ended or were nearing the end. According to the rules of the Alliance Banquet, the top 3 from each side would enter the Wind and Cloud finals. The finals would be a moment that would decide one's fate and history. Only by reaching the top 10 would one receive great rewards. Reaching the top 3 would give one the right to comprehend the intent of the sovereign hidden dragon ruins. The first place would receive the greatest reward, a shedding spiritual pill. My current cultivation has reached the peak of the 5th sky. Once I break through to the 6th sky, I'll use a shedding spiritual pill, and I'll be able to step into the 7th sky. Zhao Feng's eyes were resolute as he clenched his fists. Furthermore, Entering the sovereign hidden dragon ruins would give him the power of Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. Maybe he would have new insights and breakthroughs. This meant that if Zhao Feng could obtain first place, his cultivation and strength would increase by leaps and bounds. Right at this moment, on Area 1, a battle that attracted everyone's attention came. Song Yuyue versus Beimois. Beimois was also the black horse of the Alliance banquet. Jiang, the dazzling sword rainbow, tore through the void, and it had a boundless sword aura that seemed capable of severing heaven and earth. In that instant, everyone felt as if their hearts had been pierced by a sword. Dark water barrier. The dark blue ripples around Beimois' body instantly formed a water, curtain-like barrier. The endless ripples were deep blue and as vast as the sea. At the same time, the green-gold cicada robe on his body glowed with gold and green light. Shua. The instant the dark water barrier was formed, the cicada robe on Beimois' back spread its wings and shot towards Song Yuyue like a golden cicada. However, no one could escape from Song Yuyue's attack. Crack! Beimois' strongest defense, the dark water barrier, instantly shattered and a trail of blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. A bitter smile appeared on his lips. His dark water barrier could block multiple attacks from cultivators of the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm, but it had been broken by Song Yuyue with one sword. Luckily, he had the green-gold cicada robe, which not only increased his defense, it also increased his speed as he charged at Song Yuyue. 10 zhang, 8 zhang, 5 zhang. Ever since the start of the Alliance banquet, no one had been able to get so close to Song Yuyue. This was the first time someone had successfully received one of Song Yuyue's swords without losing. This kid has such a strong defense. Aoi Wetion was slightly moved. Compared to the three-clan party, Beimois' strength had risen to an unbelievable level. If it was Zhao Feng, Aoi Wetion, or Suzy Xuan, it wouldn't have been easy to break through the dark water barrier. It was a pity that his opponent was Song Yuyue. Dark water, reverse dragon strike. A dark blue ripple appeared around Beimois' body, and a whirlpool of water appeared on his arm. It was like a dragon that smashed towards Song Yuyue. The power of such a shocking attack was truly frightening. Even Aoi Wetion had to admit that the difference between him and Beimois had been reduced to the maximum. It was at least the same as when he was at the three-clan party. Wave-breaking cloud. Song Yuyue paused slightly before slashing out a second time. Instantly, the entire black sand platform seemed to be filled with the sound of waves breaking. With the naked eye, one could only see a white light piercing through the sky. The defensive array on the black sand platform started to shake, and some small cracks even appeared. Not good. The true spirit realm judge's expression changed slightly as he lightly exclaimed and sent a surge of chi of true spirit into the air, sealing the cracks in the array. It was hard to imagine what kind of level that sword had reached when it sliced through the clouds and waves. Plop! Beimois had already fallen onto the ground with a sword mark that went from his forehead to his nose and then to his chest. Song Yuyue's clothes were spotless, and her eyes were bright. She had crushed all the geniuses of the 13 clans under her feet with just her sword. The geniuses of the same era as her were all gloomy and sorrowful. They were all trampled under a woman's skirt. The power of this sword is Zhao Feng couldn't help but take in a deep breath. His left eye started to train, trying to see what would happen if he resisted this sword in his current state. The result was that he would be instantly killed. Of course, Zhao Feng also knew Song Yuyue's weakness. Being a sword cultivator, she pursued offense, and therefore her defense wasn't high. However, Zhao Feng wasn't the only one who knew this. The 4 stars knew this as well. Song Yuyue herself definitely knew this as well. But the problem was, who could block her sword? One sword to destroy everything. All methods were destroyed in front of her with one sword. Song Yuyue had held back just then, or else Beimois would have been sliced in half already. The rankings of Area 1 also came out. First, Song Yuyue second, Beimois third. Lu Qianlong came from the same clan as Song Yuyue, the Cloud Sword clan, and was also a sword cultivator. Moi being able to barely beat Lu Qianlong was already an incredible achievement, and this was also due to his powerful defense. Once the opponent's defense was too strong, sword cultivators wouldn't be able to break through it, and they weren't good at fighting long battles. Next, the rankings of Area 2 also came out. First, Lin Tong second, Zhao Yufei third, Yin Chuan among them. Yin Chuan was also a dark horse in this banquet. He had defeated Yang Gan and other strong opponents, but he had narrowly lost to Zhao Yufei. The last to finish was Area 4. First was Ao Yuetian. Second and third were the top 10 experts of the older generation, and they came from the Cloud Sword Clan and Ancient Shrine respectively. Up to this point, the area battles ended. All the disciples rested for the night and prepared for the finals the next day. The finals was a moment that history was written, and even the disciples that lost didn't want to miss it. After the competition, the 13 clans tallied the disciples that made it into the finals. Cloud Sword Clan, 3 Ancient Shrine, 2 people. Broken Moon Clan, 2 Lin Moon Clan. 2 of these 4 clans had 2 or more disciples that made it into the finals, taking up more than half of the spots. The secluded Jade Palace and Mystic True Clan each had 1 spot. The Cloud Sword Clan was indeed worthy of being the head of the 13 clans. However, compared to the previous finals, the Cloud Sword Clan and Ancient Shrine spots were slightly smaller. This was because there were too many dark horses this time. Zhao Feng, Zhao Yufei, Moi, Yin Chuan and company were the representatives of the 13 clans, and they didn't have much fame. Amongst them, the Broken Moon Clan's performance was the most shocking. This clan, that was at the bottom of the 13 clans, had 2 people that made it into the finals. One of them had even replaced Su Zixuan as the new star of the alliance with incredible strength and miracles at every step. The upper echelon of the Broken Moon Clan had red faces. The alliance banquet didn't just concern the glory of the clan, it also concerned the distribution of benefits. In the past, it was extremely hard for one person from the Broken Moon Clan to make it into the finals, and they had to rely on luck. At least in the past few clans, no one had made it into the finals. In the past, most of the spots were taken by the Cloud Sword Clan and Ancient Shrine. It was hard for the other clans to even get a spot, let alone a small clan like the Broken Moon Clan. This alliance banquet has broken several hundred years of tradition. It can be said that there are many heroes fighting for supremacy. Some of the older generation couldn't help but sigh. The geniuses that were participating in the finals came from various clans, and there were many dark horses. There wasn't a single clan that dominated. The morning of the second day, the finals had officially begun. It was a new day, and all the representative disciples were in high spirits, raising their condition to its peak. The 4 areas of the Black Sand Array merged into one large arena, the Wind Cloud Arena. The new arena was even bigger. 12 peerless geniuses came to the arena and sat down in their respective seats. The other spectators watched from a distance. There were quite a few of them. The alliance banquet that happened once every 10 years would be recorded in the history books and would decide one's fate. The 13 clans and the nearby countries all had a small amount of people come to watch. Although there wasn't an ocean of people, everyone present was either an elite of the younger generation or an expert of the older generation. Finals. First match, Zhang Yue versus Qi Jiao. There was a total of 4 judges at the True Spirit Realm standing at the 4 corners of the arena. I admit defeat. The youth called Qi Jiao had a bitter expression as he admitted defeat. He and Zhang Yue came from the same clan. The second match, Lin Tong versus Moi. Lin Tong, dressed in black, and Moi, dressed in green and gold, stood 100 yards away from each other. Moi wasn't someone who would admit defeat so easily. A pair of wings spread out from his clothes, and the ripples on his arms turned into 2 snakes that coiled towards Lin Tong. Heavenly Absinthe. Lin Tong's eyes seemed to turn into a bottomless abyss with a red light that seemed to be able to attract one's soul. An unfathomable power spread across heaven and earth. At this moment, Lin Tong was like a king as he coldly glanced at Moi. Plop! Moi fell from midair with cold sweat all over his body. He was exhausted and his face was filled with fear. How could this be? Even when facing Tsang Yuyue, he could still block one sword. But facing Lin Tong, the latter had used his heavenly absent eye and defeated him with just one glance. Every time Lin Tong attacked, everyone's expressions would change. Su Zixuan and Ao Yuetian's eyes were filled with wariness. Even someone as strong as Tsang Yuyue was slightly moved. In the alliance banquet, the two people that couldn't be defeated were Tsang Yuyue and Lin Tong. They would either be insta-killed with one sword or insta-killed with one glance. Zhao Feng versus Yin Chuan. It was soon Zhao Feng's turn. It wasn't hard for the spectators to realize that the stronger ones were the first to go up. Ha ha! Let me see how strong the new star of the alliance is. Yin Chuan let out a wild laugh, and a layer of golden bronze luster appeared on his body, followed by a layer of fiery patterns. Of the 4 stars, he was respectful towards Tsang Yuyue and Lin Tong, but he was wary of Su Zixuan and Ao Yuetian. However, Zhao Feng was a new alliance star, so he wasn't that afraid. Chapter 2:31. From Yin Chuan's point of view, the reason why Zhao Feng could beat Su Zixuan was because of luck. As long as he didn't underestimate his opponent, even if he couldn't beat Zhao Feng, he wouldn't lose so quickly. Therefore, Yin Chuan didn't think that Zhao Feng was anything special, and he didn't even fit the title of one of the 4 stars. Brother Zhao, be careful. This guy's body-strengthening skills are extremely high, and his defense and power are shocking. Yang Gan warned Zhao Feng. Before, Yang Gan had lost to Yin Chuan in a head-on battle. Zhao Feng nodded his head and stepped onto the arena. Begin. As soon as the judge's voice finished, Yin Chuan charged at Zhao Feng with a force that seemed to be able to shatter everything. Zhao Feng could sense the unparalleled power within Yin Chuan's body through his left eye. Even a giant elephant would be smashed to death by him. If it was a head-on clash, there wouldn't be many people in the entire alliance banquet that could be his match. Yin Chuan's speed and power became stronger and stronger as he charged forward. The flaming runes on his body glowed as he created a tornado of sand. Zhao Feng felt his breathing and blood become obstructed. This was the natural reaction of the difference in body strength. However, one's strength wasn't determined by one's physical strength alone. If Yin Chuan took first place, then Tsang Yuyue and Lin Tong would have to stand to the side. My God! Exclamations came from below the arena. Yin Chuan's attack was about to land in front of Zhao Feng, but the latter didn't move at all. Could it be that he was going to use his body to take this attack? Without using true force, even those at the 4-star alliance wouldn't be able to do this. A smile of mockery appeared on Zhao Feng's lips as a weird mental energy undulation spread through the air. Pung! Yin Chuan's fireball-like body created a large hole in the ground in front of Zhao Feng. The black sand that was almost as hard as a divine weapon was shattered and dust flew everywhere. Within the giant crater, Zhao Feng did not move. His blue hair fluttered in the wind. The dust around him could not get close to him. As for Yin Chuan, his entire body sank into the black sand, and a trace of blood spread out. His body trembled as he struggled, but he sank deeper and deeper. What's going on? Everyone below the stage was bewildered. What was wrong with this Yin Chuan? Zhao Feng was like a wooden pillar standing there without moving. Not only was he unable to hit him, he even launched a suicidal attack. One must know that the toughness of this formation platform made of black sand was comparable to a low-tier divine weapon. This Yin Chuan actually used his head to hit the black sand? Mental illusion. A disciple of the ancient shrine exclaimed. Spirit illusion. A mysterious and powerful term appeared in everyone's mind. At this moment, Lin Tong narrowed his eyes and looked at the battle on the stage. In this battle, Zhao Feng did not move at all, while Yin Chuan launched a suicidal attack. By the time he realized what had happened, his entire body was drenched in blood. Even though his physical defense was strong, if he used his own strength to hit himself, he would still be injured, not to mention the kind of collision where he had accumulated his strength to the peak. You've lost. Zhao Feng lifted his foot and stepped on Yin Chuan's head that had just popped out. Poof! Yin Chuan spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Zhao Feng wins. The judge looked weirdly at Zhao Feng. When Zhao Feng walked off the stage, the spectators finally understood what had happened, and they all took in cold breaths. At this moment, Zhao Feng was even more mysterious, powerful, and unfathomable in their eyes. In terms of Zhao Feng's strength, he had the destructive lightning wind palm for close combat, the Luoho Bao for long-range attacks, and his unique mental energy techniques. Furthermore, every single one of them was extremely powerful. After Zhao Feng left the stage, it was Ao Yuetian's turn. Ao Yuetian's opponent was Qi Jiao of the Cloud Sword clan, whose mastery of the sword was only below Zhang Yu's. Under normal situations, Ao Yuetian would need to spend some effort to beat Qi Jiao. Moon God War Body. A layer of silver light formed on Ao Yuetian's body, and the carvings on it were as fine as meat. After using this secret skill, Ao Yuetian seemed to have been possessed by the moon god. Shua. The next instant, Ao Yuetian turned into a blur, and in the blink of an eye, he hit Qi Jiao. None of the disciples that were able to reach the finals were easy to deal with. Qi Jiao slashed out with lightning speed, and a blinding light flashed across a radius of several yards, shattering the surrounding black sand. Crack! Qi Jiao only felt an unstoppable force send him flying, and he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. The crowd broke out into chaos. Qi Jiao's sword had clearly landed on Ao Yuetian's body, but had been easily dissolved by the rippling silver light. Ao Yuetian was completely unharmed. One had to know that Qi Jiao was a sword cultivator, and that sword just then was enough to threaten those at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm. But it had been ignored by Ao Yuetian. In terms of defense, Ao Yuetian is stronger than Beimoi. Furthermore, his attack and speed far surpass Beimoi. Zhao Feng analyzed. Ao Yuetian indeed had a strong foundation to be able to become one of the 4 stars. Just like this, the 4 stars fought one by one in the finals. Without a doubt, they had all insta-killed their opponents, and they stood at a higher level. The finals of the wind and cloud competition continued round after round. According to the rules, everyone had to fight 11 battles. This meant that the 12 geniuses would all fight against each other. There was no luck involved. At the end, the rankings would be decided based on the number of battles they won. If they could win 11 battles, they would definitely be first. Of course, if they won 10 battles, they would also be first. This was because the opponents countered each other and there were problems with their performance. The first round of battles ended quickly. The Alliance's 4 rising stars all won, while the rest had some wins and some losses. Half a day later, the second round began. The situation changed in the second round. Even the stars could fight against each other. But this round, the stars didn't fight against each other. On the other hand, Zhang Yue and Su Zixuan met. Su Zixuan had used his full strength in the 3-sword formation, but he only managed to block 3 of Zhang Yue's swords before losing. But even then, being able to force Zhang Yue to use the 3rd sword was already the highest record. Next was Beimoi, who forced Zhang Yue to use the 2nd sword. In the second round, Zhao Feng's opponent was Gu Lanyue. I admit defeat. Gu Lanyue smiled bitterly as she admitted defeat. At this point in time, how could she not know that Zhao Feng hadn't used his full strength in the first round and had even been merciful? In the second round, there was also an intense battle. It was between Ao Yuetian and Zhao Yufei. Everyone thought that Zhao Yufei and Ao Yuetian would admit defeat since they came from the same clan. But Zhao Yufei didn't admit defeat. Instead of being shocked, Ao Yuetian was overjoyed. Yufei, when you are defeated by me, you will understand the difference between us. Moon God's War Body. Ao Yuetian used his signature move without holding back. Firstly, he hoped to capture Zhao Yufei's heart and make her respect him, even worship him, just like how she relied on Zhao Feng. Secondly, the prize for the top 3 of the Alliance banquet was related to one's life, and Ao Yuetian wouldn't give it up. Brother Ao, sorry for offending you. Zhao Yufei smiled faintly as a layer of azure, true force appeared on her skin, which was as clear as crystal. Looking at her, Zhao Yufei's skin was as white as snow, as if it wasn't made of flesh and blood, but a perfect body made of crystal, giving people the illusion that she was a goddess. Pung! Zhao Yufei's palm blossomed with a green lotus light, and her true force blocked Ao Yuetian's attack. In terms of strength, Zhao Yufei was still lacking and was forced back. But she was like a goddess in the water, dancing and attacking. In the spectating stand of the Iron Dragon country, what unique bloodline power. It's just that it's thin, but it's able to make her true force so pure, as if it's her own flesh and blood. Unbelievable. The figure wrapped in the black veil and bamboo hat sighed. The increase in offense isn't strong, but the compatibility between true force and flesh and blood is high. Such a bloodline should be able to increase cultivation speed, but it's too thin. The other person was slightly regretful. The Iron Dragon country was one of the few strong countries in the northern continent. They had more land and more resources. The strength of the clans also surpassed the 13 clans. Yufei, no wonder your changeable body is so high. So it's because of your bloodline power. Ao Yuetian was calm as he fought. In a short amount of time, the two were evenly matched. But Ao Yuetian could see that Zhao Yufei's bloodline power didn't increase his battle power by much. Moon God Shadow. Ao Yuetian's figure was like a moonlight blur, flying through the sky and down to the ground. Not only that, but his offense and power had also increased. Of course, the biggest increase was still his speed. His bloodline power has been activated. Zhao Feng opened his left eye and found that there was a transparent silver line on Ao Yuetian's flesh and blood. Zhao Feng could roughly sense Ao Yuetian's bloodline power. On the other hand, Zhao Yufei's bloodline power was special. Zhao Feng found that her blood and bones were more tender than normal and had a high compatibility with true force. Some of her blood and bones had even merged with true force. Yufei's bloodline is special. Although it's not strong right now, it's slowly awakening. This is similar to me, Zhao Feng thought. At this moment, the battle power of the two had broken through the barrier of cultivation and exploded out with unbelievable power. This battle belonged to the Battle of Bloodlines. This is the legendary bloodline power. It's said that it's even rarer than a peak-grade spiritual body. The spectators sighed in admiration. The existence of a bloodline inheritance was extremely rare, but one thing was certain. Those who possessed a bloodline inheritance had more advantages than ordinary people. In the 4 stars of the Alliance, Lin Tong and Ao Yuetian both had bloodlines, which made up half of them. And now, there was this Zhao Yufei who could fight against Ao Yuetian in a short amount of time. Of course, Zhao Feng also had bloodline power, but because he had only used it once, it wasn't obvious. Only the people from the Iron Dragon country could see some clues. Zhao Feng had even looked into the records of the clan regarding bloodlines. Powerful bloodlines all came from inheritance. In other words, it was inheritance, since physique, appearance, and even intelligence could be passed down from one generation to the next. Some special abilities could naturally be passed down as well. If a person possessed bloodline power, it meant that an incredibly powerful existence had once appeared in their ancestors' generation, or even in the distant era of their ancestors. As for how strong did they have to be in order for their descendants to have a bloodline power? According to the records that Zhao Feng had looked up, only Void God Realm Emperors and above could have a chance to have a bloodline power. Even sovereigns at the Primal Core realm couldn't. Chapter 232. In the world of clans, there were 7 realms: Consolidated Realm, Ascended Realm, True Spirit Realm, Origin Core Realm, Void God Realm, Mystic Light Realm, and Heavenly Divine Realm. Only the descendants of emperors who had reached the Void God Realm or higher had the chance to inherit their bloodline, and the chances weren't high. Apparently, as long as one reached the Heavenly Divine Realm and received the recognition of heaven and earth, their descendants would have a 100% chance of inheriting their bloodline. It was just a matter of how strong or weak it was and whether it had awakened. However, in the current continent, the highest realm was the Origin Core realm. Within 10,000 years, only the Scarlet Moon Patriarch could reach the Void God realm. Looks like the current bloodline inheritances come from a very long time ago. As the bloodline is passed down, it will become thinner and thinner, and the chances of inheriting it will decrease. Zhao Feng analyzed and felt that bloodlines weren't easy to obtain. It could be said that those with bloodlines were all prodigies of the heavens and were blessed by their ancestors. Of course, Zhao Feng also had a bloodline power, but it didn't come from his ancestor. It was acquired. This kind of situation was even more unheard of on the finals arena. The two geniuses with bloodline inheritances started a spectacular and intense battle. As they clashed again and again, they erupted with power that surpassed the realm barrier. At this point in time, Ao Yuetian's battle power was comparable to those at half-step true spirit realm. His offense, defense, and speed were all perfect. Zhao Yufei's advantage was the compatibility between her true force and her body. Her true force was purer than others, and the power of 2 parts of her true force was equivalent to 3 parts of others. Her body and bones had merged with her true force and became crystal clear. Her body was like a fairy in the wind, and although her speed wasn't as fast as Ao Yuetian, her agility was unparalleled. But this battle lasted for 40 to 50 moves, and Zhao Yufei was finally defeated. Yufei's cultivation and skills are obviously weaker than Ao Yuetian's. Furthermore, her bloodline doesn't increase her battle power much. Zhao Feng wasn't surprised. The result was within his expectations. Yufei, thanks for letting me win. Ao Yuetian smiled warmly and maintained his elegant posture. He had achieved his goal, which was to defeat Zhao Yufei fair and square. He would definitely make her submit to him, and she might even rely on him in the future. After all, women tended to rely on the strong, which gave them a greater sense of security. However, after Zhao Yufei was defeated, there was a calm expression on her face. How could this be? Ao Yuetian's face darkened. Although Zhao Yufei was defeated, she didn't feel any respect for him, let alone worship or rely on him. We both defeated Zhao Yufei, but she's so reliant on Zhao Feng, and yet her opinion of me hasn't changed at all. Looks like she's still prejudiced against me. Ao Yuetian's eyes twinkled as he came to a realization. This was because Zhao Feng had come into contact with Zhao Yufei earlier than him, and it was at a much younger age. At that time, a young girl's temperament and outlook on life had yet to be set, and it was easy for her to develop admiration and dependence on someone. But now, Zhao Yufei had already grown up. Her temperament was firm and determined. Wanting to use the same method to move her was not so easy. It's not like there's no way. If I can beat Zhao Feng, I can replace his position in Yufei's heart. The darkness on Ao Yuetian's face was washed away by a smile. He had found the root of the problem. The root was still Zhao Feng. Although Zhao Feng was also one of the 4 stars, Ao Yuetian was still confident. His bloodline power was stronger than before, and Moon God War's mastery and compatibility with his bloodline had also increased. Ao Yuetian had also watched the entire battle between Zhao Feng and Su Zixuan. The reason why Su Zixuan had lost was because he had underestimated his opponent, and his flying sword had been countered by Zhao Feng's Luoho Bao. In Ao Yuetian's heart, although Zhao Feng was also one of the 4 stars, his position was much lower than Song Yuyue and Lin Tong's. On the finals arena, the dust had settled on the second round. Apart from the 4 stars, the other geniuses still had some wins and some losses. The spectators were looking forward to the battle between the 4 stars. The third round of the finals. Song Yuyue and Lin Tong once again went up and instantly killed their opponents. Next was Zhao Feng's turn. Zhao Feng versus Ao Yuetian. A bright voice sounded across the arena. Hua! The crowd broke out into an uproar. Many disciples couldn't contain their excitement. Finally, it was time for the peak battle between the 4 stars. Great! Ao Yuetian rejoiced inwardly. It seemed like even the heavens had heard his call. Amongst the 4 stars, the opponent he wanted to meet the most was Zhao Feng. Song Yue and Lin Tong's strength was too monstrous, and he didn't have any confidence. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's strength was close to his, and as long as he beat him, he would have the chance to win the heart of the goddess in his dreams. This battle, he had to win. As soon as he stepped onto the arena, Aoi Wetion was filled with fighting spirit. This battle would determine his final result in the Alliance Banquet. It would determine whether or not he would be able to win the heart of the woman he loved. It would also determine the path of his life. On the other hand, Zhao Feng calmly stepped onto the arena. This is my chance. Zhao Feng's expression was calm as his eyes twinkled as he stared at Aoi Wetion. What was Zhao Feng planning? Aoi Wetion had a feeling that he had been schemed against. However, he was very confident in his bloodline power and Moon God War. In terms of offense, defense, and speed, he was perfect and had no weaknesses. Furthermore, his cultivation had reached the seventh sky and he had a bloodline power, whereas Zhao Feng hadn't even reached the sixth sky and didn't have a bloodline power. How could Zhao Feng fight him? If he couldn't even win like this, he might as well kill himself with a piece of tofu. Start. The voice of the judge at the True Spirit Realm sounded. Aoi Wetion didn't immediately attack, and instead started to circulate his bloodline power. Moon God War Body. A layer of silver light appeared on Aoi Wetion's body, and it was as if he had been possessed by the Moon God. His aura skyrocketed, and it was enough to suppress normal fifth sky cultivators. Lightning Wind Palm. Zhao Feng's figure flashed with lightning as he charged towards Aoi Wetion with all his might. Was this guy crazy? Aoi Wetion jumped up in fright as he looked at Zhao Feng's actions. He wanted to tear him into pieces. Moon God Palm. Aoi Wetion's right hand glowed with silver moonlight that was as bright as a blade as it clashed against Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm. Amidst the roaring of lightning and wind, the two terrifying powers exploded. Aoi Wetion only felt a slight, numbing sensation on his wrist and body. Pung! Zhao Feng was pushed back several yards. In a head-on clash, Aoi Wetion's offense and defense were perfect. Dance of wind and lightning. Zhao Feng lightly exclaimed as his azure hair danced in the wind like a waterfall. Layers of lightning flashed in the air as it shot towards Aoi Wetion like a storm. This time, Zhao Feng's lightning intent had been merged to the maximum, and his lightning wind palm was close to the peak's 6th level. There's such a strong power of lightning. Aoi Wetion felt the air become chaotic as a destructive aura filled the area. He activated his bloodline power, and the silver membrane on the surface of his body grew thicker and more solid. A layer of rippling silver light appeared on the surface of his skin. The lightning flashed in the air, and when it neared Aoi Wetion, it quickly disappeared. In terms of defense and self-defense, Aoi Wetion was even stronger than Suzy Xuan. Boom! In the second clash, Zhao Feng was forced back a few steps while Aoi Wetion swayed slightly. Haha! Zhao Feng, if this is all your strength is, why don't you just admit defeat? Aoi Wetion let out a long laugh as his arrogance soared to the sky. Up until now, Aoi Wetion had only merged 50 to 60% of his bloodline power. He blocked Zhao Feng's attacks and even had the upper hand. Aoi Wetion had analyzed that Zhao Feng's style leaned towards offense. His mental energy skills, lightning wind palm, and Luoho Bao were all offensive. Therefore, as long as he stabilized the situation, victory was only a matter of time. Boom! Zhao Feng suddenly exclaimed, and lightning seemed to strike Aoi Wetion's mind. Aoi Wetion's blood boiled, and the surface of the Moon God War Body rippled. It's useless. The Moon God War Body is impenetrable and has great resistance towards all kinds of attacks. Aoi Wetion turned into a moon and started a counterattack. Zhao Feng's mental energy sound wave had little effect on Aoi Wetion, who was in the Moon God War Body state. Illusion Fish Lightning Arc Step. The sound of lightning crackling came from the air. Zhao Feng's speed was unpredictable, and the Yin shadow cloak on his back flapped as he flashed through the air like a shadow. Instantly, on the storm-decisive battle platform, Two nearly incorporeal shadows dragged behind them as they engaged in a soul-stirring battle. The spectators were all dumbfounded. Zhao Feng and Ao Yuetian's speed stood at the peak, and even Zhang Yuyue and Lin Tong were shocked. In terms of speed, brother Zhao Feng and brother Ao are on the same level, especially when he uses the mysterious cloak. In terms of changes, brother Zhao has the advantage. Zhao Yufei watched seriously. The profound meaning of lightning greatly increased the speed of one's movement technique. On the other hand, Ao Yuetian's moon god shadow allowed his body to move like the moon, and after merging with his bloodline power, it was like adding wings to a tiger. However, Zhao Feng had the yin shadow cloak, and his body was like a shadow, which required a small amount of bloodline power to activate. Overall, Zhao Feng's speed was much faster, and he had the initiative. However, in terms of offense and defense, Ao Yuetian had the advantage. For a time, the confrontation between the two rising stars was evenly matched. The battle was like a raging fire. The two figures moved in the sky and on the ground, constantly teleporting. This was the Wind Cloud Arena, which was several miles wide and was enough for the two to fight. If it was a normal arena, it would have already become ruins. Has this Zhao Feng gone crazy? The more he fights, the more savage he becomes. Ao Yuetian was secretly shocked. Zhao Feng fought without regard for anything else, fiercely clashing with his opponent again and again. One had to know that in a head-on clash, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand and would instead be at a disadvantage. On the other hand, Ao Yuetian had the Moon God War body, which had strong defense and was undefeatable. Because of this, Zhao Feng had even suffered some internal injuries. Even then, he was still diligent and fought head-on. The more he suffered, the more courageous he became, and his fighting spirit was high. Although he was injured, his offense, mental energy, and blood energy continued to rise. This Zhao Feng is so savage. Does he not want his life anymore? Some of the disciples below the stage were bewildered. So that's how it is. On the Iron Dragon country's side, the mysterious person in the black veil lightly laughed. Chapter 233. Zhao Feng's frenzied and brutal fighting caused the spectators to be shocked. Does he not want to live anymore? The elite disciples that were participating in the finals looked at each other. After clashing again and again, Zhao Feng had obviously suffered some light injuries. If it wasn't for his movement technique, he would have been heavily injured. Ao Yuetian was surprised and happy. This was a good thing for him. Zhao Feng was good at attacking and had many different methods. His movement technique made him feel tired. Luckily, Zhao Feng was willing to fight him head-on. This kind of attacking expert would not last long. In terms of cultivation, I am higher than you. In terms of talent, I have my blood meridians. In less than 200 moves, you will be exhausted. Ao Yuetian laughed coldly to himself. It wasn't that he didn't want to win quickly, but it was that this madman was more vicious and brutal than him. He was afraid that Zhao Feng would pay a huge price. Therefore, he mainly defended and occasionally counterattacked. He would wait for Zhao Feng to exhaust himself and take him down in one move. This was a stable strategy. He would use the smallest price to defeat this madman. Ao Yuetian's eyes flashed as he made up his mind. However, when he thought about it this way, he naturally lost half of his momentum. Zhao Feng became more and more brutal as he fought. His fighting spirit rose, and the blood in his body seemed to be burning. Faintly, Zhao Feng's body seemed to emit the sound of true force flowing. His dark green hair burst out like a waterfall. His aura, fighting spirit, all of his aura was rising. After exchanging 100 moves, Zhao Feng's face was red. His true force surged, and the energy in his body was slowly being released. Finally, Ao Yuetian realized that something was wrong. Logically speaking, after 100 moves, Zhao Feng should have weakened a bit. Why was he still fighting even fiercer? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Ao Yuetian felt the pressure on him increase. Zhao Feng's aura was condensed to the extreme, like a volcano that was about to erupt. The limit of the fifth sky. Just a little bit more. Am I destined to be unable to break through? Zhao Feng took a deep breath and crazily squeezed out the potential in every corner of his body. Ever since the floating crest trial, Zhao Feng had consumed many spirit pills and spirit materials. This was especially so recently when he had consumed the mysterious liquid from the forbidden ground of 100 graves. A portion of its energy had been absorbed by his body, and he had yet to convert and use it. At this moment, Zhao Feng's entire body's qi and true power was in a boiling state. The blood meridian's power was firmly guarding his organs and meridians, at the same time acting as a form of support. It was precisely because of this that Zhao Feng did not suffer any serious injuries, even though he fought so crazily. Senior brother Ao, this kid wants to break through at the last minute. Someone cried out in alarm from below, reminding Zhang Xian. What? Ao Yuetian, who was in the middle of the battle, was startled by this reminder, and his face paled. Looking closely at Zhao Feng's expression, although his fighting style was fierce, his face was firm and cold. He had not lost his rationality. This Zhao Feng actually used him as a whetstone? After understanding the truth, rage filled Ao Yuetian's chest. Rage, shock, humiliation. The spectators below couldn't help but take in a breath of cold air. Most people only saw Zhao Feng's crazed side, but did they see his schemes? Moon transformation divine palm. Ao Yuetian completely erupted and fully opened his bloodline power. The silver moonlight on his body rippled, and his body seemed even more illusory, as if he was the incarnation of moonlight. His offense, defense, speed, and all other aspects all increased. Zhao Feng suddenly felt Ao Yuetian's explosive power increase, and his qi and true power were suppressed. The bloodline power came from his ancestor, which was at least a faux god realm sovereign martial emperor. Thus, it naturally suppressed normal powers. Zhao Feng, don't you dare succeed. Ao Yuetian used 200% of his strength, and there was even a faint aura of a sovereign martial emperor coming from his bloodline power. Zhao Feng's aura, which he had finally condensed to the limit, was completely suppressed. Am I going to fail just like this? Zhao Feng felt unresigned and sullen. Just a little bit more, and he would have broken through. Unfortunately, the other party wasn't an idiot and wouldn't let him break through. Since it's like this, then it ends here. The suppressed bloodline power in Zhao Feng's body was stimulated by the faint sovereign martial emperor aura coming from Ao Yuetian. How could the dignity of an ancient god be violated? Wind, lightning, extermination. Zhao Feng roared, and a layer of dazzling azure lightning surrounded his body, forming dense chains of lightning. These electric chains, one after another, crackled, and the air was filled with a burning smell. The destructive and tyrannical power was like a volcanic eruption. Hoo! Boom! Zhao Feng's azure hair exploded out, becoming messy and sharp. It interwove with the terrifying lightning around him, forming a scene of movement and stillness. At the same instant, his eyebrows turned azure, and his eyes glowed with a sharp azure light. A wisp of azure blood surrounded Zhao Feng's body, and it was as if he could see an ancient god standing behind Zhao Feng. An ancient aura interwove with the destructive power of lightning, forming a tyrannical aura. What? Ao Yuetian was shocked, and all of his true force was suppressed to the point that he couldn't move. In his eyes, Zhao Feng seemed to have turned into an ancient demon god. With a thrust of his palm, wind and lightning could destroy the world, and only he was supreme. Bloodline power. He also has a bloodline power. The crowd exclaimed. Some of the older experts even slammed the table and stood up. Tong, the Lin Moon clan's sect master, and elders all stood up and held their breaths. What a pure bloodline, and the aura is very ancient. Exclamations came from the Iron Dragon countryside. Pung! On the storm-decisive battle platform, a loud sound could be heard, followed by wave after wave of explosions and the sound of thunder. With Zhao Feng as the center, the black sand around him turned into black ash that shot out in every direction with lightning and wind. The twisting lightning formed chains that engulfed Ao Yuetion and blew him away. The surface of Aou's body emitted a dazzling crystalline light, and her figure retreated rapidly, as if she had turned into nothingness. Ao Yuetion's body flew hundreds of yards in the air, creating a hole in the array above the arena. On the spot, Zhao Feng stood at the center of the burnt black hole, his azure hair flowing like a waterfall, and the faint azure glow around his body quickly faded. Then, his eyebrows and body returned to their original state. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and felt his body was empty and weak. But at the same time, a vigorous life aura appeared in his body. Threads of even purer pale green, true force glowed with lightning as it circulated in his body. He's broken through. Exclamations came from below the arena. Many people took in a cold breath, not knowing if it was because of Zhao Feng's strength or because of his sudden breakthrough. Plop! Outside the arena, Ao Yuetion's ruffled figure fell onto the ground with scorch marks left on his body. Zhao Feng wins. The judge recovered from his daze and inspected Zhao Feng with a weird gaze. As soon as the words were said, the entire arena broke out into chaos. Many spectators finally reacted. What's going on? How did Zhao Feng suddenly become so terrifying? He sent Ao Yuetion flying with one palm. Bloodline power. I didn't think that crazy Zhao Feng would also have a bloodline power. The crowd discussed. No wonder his talent is so normal, but his cultivation speed is so fast. So it's because of his bloodline power. Yangon, Beimoi, and company all had complex expressions. They didn't know if they were happy or bitter. On the Broken Moon clan's side, the clan master and first elder were overjoyed. The heavens have blessed our Broken Moon clan to have such a genius. The Broken Moon clan master was overjoyed. This Zhao Feng really knows how to hide his strength. Hai Yin master's face was slightly twisted as he tried to suppress the killing intent and darkness in his heart. As I thought, first elder let out a long breath and smiled. Being Zhao Feng's master, he had seen him many times, and he had long since found out that his disciple's body was weird. It was just that he wasn't sure before. Under the uproar of the crowd, Zhao Feng closed his eyes and slowly walked off the stage. He sat down cross-legged and started to circulate his true force to consolidate his foundation. At the same time, he swallowed a valuable healing pill. On the other side, the defeated Ao Yuetion's expression was filled with humiliation, fear, and unwillingness. This guy, he hid his strength so deeply. Ao Yuetion clenched his teeth. This battle wasn't a simple loss. It was a humiliation. If Zhao Feng used his bloodline power, he could also beat Ao Yuetion. But he didn't do that. Instead, he used Ao Yuetion as a whetstone to stimulate his potential and then used his bloodline power to break through to the sixth sky. Unknowingly, Ao Yuetion had become a whetstone, a chess piece. How could he not feel resentful and humiliated? After breaking through to the sixth sky, Zhao Feng's cultivation was at the top of the Alliance Banquet. He was only one sky away from the other stars, and he had made up for his biggest weakness. In reality, what Zhao Feng did was risky, and he might even suffer a backlash from his true force. However, Zhang Yuyue and Lin Tong gave him too much pressure. If he wanted to get first, he needed to increase his cultivation to increase his chances of winning. At this moment, many gazes turned towards the azure-haired, one-eyed, cold youth, this vicious and experienced star. From a star of the Alliance Banquet until now, Zhao Feng had successfully defeated the two stars. Now, he had even exposed the hidden power of his bloodline, and his cultivation had broken through to the next level. His true strength and trump cards were still immeasurable. At this moment, in everyone's eyes, Zhao Feng's terror could be compared to Zhang Yuyue and Lin Tong. I wonder what will happen when this madman meets Zhang Yuyue and Lin Tong. Thinking up to here, the spectators were filled with anticipation. The finals were still ongoing. An hour later, Zhao Feng's injuries were fully healed. Under the nourishment of the ancient bloodline, his recovery was faster than others. This was the effect of any bloodline. When Zhao Feng stood back up, his aura was even more condensed. His dark blue hair floated in the air, making him stand out in the crowd. Faintly, the entire wind cloud decisive battle platform, with 3 auras, slowly ascended. Song Yue, Lin Tong, and Zhao Feng. The 3 auras stood in 3 different directions on the arena, forming a tripartite formation. The formless mental pressure made the disciples present feel suffocated. If one's luck could be seen with the naked eye, they would see 3 giant objects in the air. A 3-feet-long blade that pierced through the heavens, an eye as black as the abyss, and an eye that covered the sky, overlooking all living beings. The invisible aura was above all the geniuses of the 13 clans. Chapter 234. All the representative disciples present here were oppressed by the unparalleled might and influence of the 3 great geniuses to the point it was difficult for them to breathe, and they could only look at their backs. This pressure seemed to be an illusion, and it had nothing to do with one's strength. It was caused by the heaven and earth's aura. Song Yue, Lin Tong, and Zhao Feng. The 3 peerless geniuses, pushed by an invisible force, stood in a tripod, facing each other from afar. At this moment, they recognized each other's strength, and they viewed the other 2 as true opponents. Song Yue, I originally thought that you were the only opponent in this alliance banquet. I didn't think that there would be another one. Lin Tong walked over with his hands behind his back, and his eyes were pitch black. He didn't say anything, but his voice resounded in the mental energy dimension between the 3. Song Yue was dressed in pure white clothes, and she held her azure sword in her hand. She was like a celestial being. For the first time, her clear and ethereal eyes were sizing someone up seriously. Song Yue and Lin Tong understood each other quite well. However, this youth in front of them was an opponent that they both needed to understand. The 2 of them hadn't found out the depth of this youth yet. Zhao Feng stood on the spot with a cold and calm expression. His beautiful yet wicked azure hair blew in the wind. This scene made the hearts of the girls present tremble. Although Zhao Feng's appearance couldn't be said to be particularly handsome, his chiseled features and deep eyes were abnormally pleasing to the eye, as if they contained boundless depth. This was especially so for his pure azure hair, which made even girls jealous. It made this youth's coldness seem even more wicked. My opponent is very strong, but I will still fight for first place in this alliance banquet. Zhao Feng's expression was calm, and his eyes were sharp as battle intent radiated from him. On the alliance banquet, he had created miracles and reached the top of the pyramid. However, the killing intent coming from the darkness was several times stronger than before. This killing intent didn't only come from Haiyan Master. For such a prodigy to appear out of nowhere and come from a small clan like the Broken Moon clan, wouldn't the other clans be jealous and have ill intentions towards her? However, Zhao Feng was no longer a baby in the cradle. His wings were growing, and he was beginning to achieve success on his path of growth. On top of that, any peerless heaven's favorite will face endless jealousy and murderous intent during their growth. Whether it was Song Yue or Lin Tong, they would both face countless trials and tribulations. Make the storm stronger. If I can get first and get the shedding spiritual pill, I'll be able to break through to the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm. Zhao Feng decided to give it his all. Being the prodigies of the Sky Cloud Forest area, Song Yue and Lin Tong obviously didn't have any thoughts of retreating. If they obtained the shedding spiritual pill, their strength would also increase by leaps and bounds, and they might even be able to reach the true spirit realm within a year or 2. These 3 geniuses have gathered the fortune of the Sky Cloud Forest for millions of years. This year's Alliance Convention might be a good opportunity for them to transform into dragons. The true spirit realm experts of the Cloud Sword Clan couldn't help but sigh. Geniuses like Song Yue, Lin Tong, and Zhao Feng could be found every few hundred years. But this year, 3 had appeared at the same time. What kind of fortune was this? In a corner of the Iron Dragon country, The 13 countries of the Sky Cloud Country still have a bit of fortune left. Maybe it's the light before the sun sets. An elegant girl wearing a silver mask smiled faintly. At the same time, the upper echelon of the 13 clans all had different reactions. Some sighed, some were envious, some were unwilling, but everyone understood one thing. The first place of this year's alliance banquet would be born from the three geniuses. On the Broken Moon clan side, I didn't think that Feng would be able to reach this step. First Elder couldn't help but sigh. In his heart, Zhao Feng being able to reach the finals was considered a pass, and becoming one of the 4 stars was already an achievement. But now, Zhao Feng, Song Yiyue, and Lin Tong had become the king of stars. Looking at the three of them, Suzy Xuan and Ao Yuetian's expressions dimmed as they clenched their fists unwillingly. The two of them never thought that Zhao Feng would be able to reach such a height. He was not only a big black horse, but also a dragon in the abyss. At this moment, it was time to ride the wind and break through the sky. On the finals arena, the battles were still continuing. The 12 geniuses all exchanged blows with each other, and no one was spared. If one could win 11 battles and beat everyone else, they would undoubtedly be first. Half a day later, the next round of battles began. Song Yiyue, Lin Tong, and Zhao Feng once again used their strength to instantly defeat their opponents. This round, Zhao Feng met Beimois. Beimois' body was surrounded by a dark blue ripple that formed a barrier. Without saying anything, Zhao Feng pulled open the Luoho bow and a faint azure light flashed as the Luoho arrow pierced through the sound barrier. Beimois' heart shook as the arrow in his vision was like a bolt of lightning. He felt as if he had fallen into a bottomless abyss, and his body continued to fall. Even if he was distracted for half a second, the arrow that pierced through the sound barrier was enough to decide the outcome. Talk! The arrow brushed past Beimois' shoulder, which caused his body to go cold and numb. An arrow with a mental energy attack. Beimois smiled bitterly. He had to admit that facing this arrow, he had no way of fighting back. Firstly, he couldn't ignore Zhao Feng's mental energy attack. Secondly, the speed of that arrow was simply too terrifying. It had been infused with the profound of lightning and the power of his bloodline. Its speed and might had reached an extreme. This arrow could pierce through the defense of those at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm. Zhao Feng's arrows, mental energy techniques, and lightning made his opponent feel helpless. After 4 to 5 rounds of battles, Song Yiyue, Lin Tong, and Zhao Feng, the 3 Star Kings, were undefeated. Unless they met each other, this was the moment that everyone was waiting for. There was a total of 11 battles, and even the 3 Star Kings would meet each other. Finally, in the 6th round of the battle, the Rising Star King would meet under everyone's expectations. Song Yiyue against Lin Tong. Hearing the judge's voice, the crowd broke out and the spectators trembled in excitement. Song Yiyue and Lin Tong's strength had always been able to instantly kill their opponents. On the other hand, Song Yiyue was the top star of the alliance, and she had stepped on all the geniuses of the 13 clans. When had this ever happened? The young geniuses of the same generation as her felt sorrowful. He was a man, yet he was heartlessly surpassed by a woman. It was something that could only be hoped for, but not reached. Song Yiyue's opponent was also the strangest in the alliance. From the beginning to the end, no one had been able to last one glance under Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye. Just one glance was enough to instantly kill all opponents. Song Yue's strength could be seen with the naked eye, but Lin Tong's methods couldn't be seen with the naked eye. Start. The judge at the True Spirit Realm suddenly waved his hand. Jiang. As soon as he finished speaking, the cry of a sword pierced through the heavens and the earth. A dazzling sword rainbow narrowed from wide to narrow, like a bolt of lightning that cut through the dark clouds. The sword aura instantly suppressed the entire area. But at the same time, Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye had already been opened. His eyes were as deep as an abyss, and there was a red dot of light in the middle. A mysterious and formless power permeated the air. It was cold, eerie, and pervasive. Song Yue's sword froze in midair when it was only halfway out of its sheath. Reality proved that mental energy was faster than physical energy, at least in the same situation. At this moment, everyone stared at the finals arena. The battle between the two stars was so simple. Maybe in just 1 second, maybe in just one move, they would be able to decide the victor. The upper echelon of the Cloud Sword clan and Ancient Shrine all stared nervously at the finals arena. These two clans represented the top and second strongest in the alliance. Their most outstanding disciple was one of the top in the alliance. However, the current situation didn't look good for Song Yuyue. This was because Lin Tong's attack had arrived first. Song Yue's eyebrows were slightly furrowed, and she seemed to struggle, but she was determined. The green sword in her hand trembled slightly. A layer of dark red light appeared on Lin Tong's body as he moved his feet to defend against Song Yuyue's sword. Although Song Yuyue's sword had been interrupted, as a genius of the sword, she still followed her instinct and slashed towards her opponent. However, this sword had lost most of its power. But even then, Lin Tong still groaned as a bloody gash appeared on his shoulder. Using this time, Song Yuyue's eyes lit up and the green sword in her hand was slowly raised again as the sword aura that had suppressed the entire arena once again condensed. Not good. The expressions of the upper echelon and elders of the ancient shrine changed. There was no doubt that Song Yuyue's sword art surpassed all geniuses. Even Zhao Feng and Lin Tong had to admit this. Song Yuyue's attacks were invincible and surpassed all the other stars. She didn't have a bloodline power, but she could reach this step. From this, one could see how terrifying her comprehension was. Lin Tong took a deep breath as his black robe fluttered in the wind. The red light in his heavenly absent eye became even brighter and more attractive. The light in Song Yuyue's eyes dimmed once again, and the terrifying sword aura that had just condensed started to dissipate. Cold sweat appeared on Lin Tong's forehead. Every time the light in Song Yuyue's eyes dimmed and her hand slid down an inch, it was the result of Lin Tong putting in a lot of effort. Not good. The upper echelon of the Cloud Sword clan had solemn expressions. The light in Song Yuyue's eyes dimmed and her hand that was holding the sword slowly slid down. Once she completely fell, it would be the moment of her defeat. Wang, the green sword hummed, and Song Yuyue's hand that was holding the sword once again rose up and condensed her sword aura once again. At this moment, the entire arena was silent. Many spectators felt their throats rise to their throats. There weren't any flashy techniques. It was just a silent and formless battle. Victory could be decided at any moment. Victory or defeat was decided by a single thought. It could be that Song Yuyue had endured the pain and killed Lin Tong in one move. It could also be that Song Yuyue had been dragged into the abyss by Lin Tong. It was a shocking battle. Every moment was like stepping on a tightrope. Victory or defeat, who would the glory belong to? Time seemed to have stopped at this moment. The battle between the two stars only needed one move to win. However, this move was still in the midst of their clash. Chapter 235. On the finals arena, the plain-clothed Song Yuyue and the pitch-black Lin Tong faced off, and the air seemed to freeze. At this moment, the crowd was dead silent, and only the thumping of hearts could be heard. Up until now, the two rising star kings had yet to determine the victor in this one move. Although the time seemed to be long, it had only been 2 to 3 breaths. However, in the illusion, the two seemed to have exchanged hundreds of blows. In every instant, Song Yuyue and Lin Tong had exchanged countless blows. Time in the mental energy dimension isn't the same as in the physical dimension. Maybe they've been fighting for a long time. Zhao Feng stared at the finals arena. Lin Tong's face twisted slightly. His face even showed a hint of malevolence, as if he was trying his best. A mysterious and cold power permeated the air, and his black robe fluttered. He still had the advantage, and was like an uncrowned king. Song Yuyue's eyebrows furrowed, and her beautiful face twisted. Pain, loneliness, helplessness appeared on her face. The light in her eyes started to dim. The 3-foot-long blade in her hand slowly slid down. The mental energy that permeated the air slowly rose, and the night seemed to swallow the day. In the eyes of the crowd, the beautiful girl in plain clothes seemed to be standing in an abyss, constantly falling into the abyss. Although many geniuses couldn't see the true level of the battle, they could feel the balance of victory. Senior Marshall's sister, hold on. As long as you can hold on, you'll be able to kill him in one sword. The disciples of the Cloud Sword Clan exclaimed. Yue can't hold on much longer. Of the 4 stars, only she doesn't have a bloodline power. Some of the elders had solemn expressions, and they didn't look optimistic. Although Tsang Yue was a genius, and her comprehension was unparalleled, she didn't have a bloodline inheritance. Bloodlines were too rare. Of course, it couldn't be said that it was impossible to become a legend without a bloodline inheritance. For example, the previous owner of the Dragon Concealing Lake, the Sovereign Dragon Concealing, didn't have a bloodline inheritance. The Scarlet Moon Patriarch also didn't have a bloodline inheritance, and his talent was average. Bloodline inheritance was just an inherent advantage. However, in this battle, Tsang Yue didn't have this advantage. Lin Tong had a special bloodline inheritance. It was because of this that he was able to cultivate the ancient shrine's supreme secret palace, Heavenly Absent Eyes. Zhao Feng had also discovered this point. Lin Tong's psychic source was very special. It was much stronger than others in the same realm. The scales of victory were constantly tilting. There was a transparent layer of black water in the air that was rising up from beneath Tsang Yue's feet. At first, the formless darkness was only up to his knees. Not long after, it spread to half of Tsang Yue's body. This formless scene was a manifestation of the occult psyche art permeating the void and distorting light rays in reality. This kind of scene indirectly indicated the situation of the confrontation. Tsang Yue's eyes became dimmer with every bit of darkness that engulfed her. In just 1 or 2 breaths, the darkness had covered Tsang Yue's shoulders and neck. Finally, it was that pretty face that was struggling helplessly. Tsang Yue's figure was about to be engulfed by the darkness. Senior sister Yue, senior sister, you can't lose. No one could take a single sword from you. The disciples of the Cloud Sword Clan couldn't help but exclaim. Everyone knew that once Tsang Yue woke up, she would be able to turn the situation around in one sword. However, Lin Tong's Heavenly Absent Eye never gave anyone a chance. No one had been able to take a single glance. Everyone could only watch as Tsang Yue was engulfed by the darkness. It passed through her nose and reached her eyes. Dang! The 3-foot-long blade fell from Tsang Yue's hand. The hearts of the upper echelons of the Cloud Sword Clan jumped. When a swordsman lost their sword, it was like losing their soul. Ha ha! The upper echelons of the ancient shrine let out a breath as they laughed. The formless darkness quickly engulfed Tsang Yue's body and reached her eyebrows and forehead. Tsang Yue's entire body was engulfed by it. Lin Tong's struggling expression slowly relaxed. However, right at this moment, Tsang Yue, who was covered in darkness, suddenly released a dazzling light from her dim eyes. It was as if an invisible sword had flashed through her eyes. Jiang! The sword aura that suppressed the entire area once again condensed, and the naked, I seemed to be able to see an invisible sword light slashing through the air. That's... Many people from the Iron Dragon country exclaimed. They had never been so shocked since the start of the Alliance banquet. That's... Could it be? The sect master of the Cloud Sword Clan stuttered. Sword intent. It's the seed of sword intent. The first elder of the Cloud Sword Clan said. Sword intent. The seed of sword intent. Tsang Yue wore a snow-white robe, and her hair blew in the wind. An invisible sword seemed to form in her eyes that could destroy everything. Shua. The formless power that permeated the void and the formless darkness that engulfed his body were shattered by the formless sword intent. Wah! Lin Tong immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face went pale as he shot out the last ray of red light from his heavenly absent eye like a shooting star. Song Yue harumphed, and her eyes seemed to contain a power that could see through one's soul. At this moment, her face was filled with comprehension. A genius that has nurtured a seed of sword intent has appeared in the sky cloud forest. The voice of the mysterious person shrouded in black muslin revealed a hint of solemnity. There aren't many geniuses like this even in the northern continent. If she can condense true sword intent, she'll probably become an existence that can control the fate of the continent. The elegant woman wearing the silver mask seemed to be slightly worried. She's only comprehended the seed of sword intent. Condensing true sword intent is harder than ascending the heavens. The others didn't mind. At this point in time, the 13 clans were in an uproar as the upper echelon discussed. There was no longer any suspense in the situation. Even if Song Yue hadn't comprehended sword intent, as long as she could block the heavenly absent eye, victory was only a matter of one sword. Seed of sword intent. Zhao Feng murmured to himself as his expression became solemn. Song Yue, who hadn't comprehended the seed of sword intent, felt pressured, and now that she had comprehended this legendary power. Sword intent was a legendary power of nothingness, and it was even rarer than sovereigns at the origin core realm. Zhao Feng had only seen the term sword intent in ancient books before, but there weren't many descriptions of it. This was because there were very few people who comprehended this power of nothingness, and it was something that couldn't be described with words. Several hundred years ago, the 10 great clans fought against the Scarlet Moon demonic religion together. At that time, the Scarlet Moon Patriarch was invincible, and his achievements surpassed the past. In that era, even sovereigns at the origin core realm died in his hands. Fortunately, a supreme sword Tao Venerable had appeared on the continent at that time. He had comprehended a powerful sword will and was able to sever rivers with one sword strike and destroy all nothingness with one thought. Even someone as strong as the Scarlet Moon Patriarch had to be wary of his attacks. In the end, the death of the Scarlet Moon Patriarch was also related to this person. The first elder of the Cloud Sword Clan sighed. Many people knew about this legend. That person was the Sword Saint Yi Wuxia. His attacks could threaten the Scarlet Moon Patriarch. Apparently, he had obtained the 7-sword inheritance, ranked second of the 4 great inheritances. When talking about these legendary events, everyone became excited and yearned for them. The Scarlet Moon inheritance and 7-sword inheritance were 2 of the 4 great inheritances. Among them, the 7-sword legacies consisted of 7 legacies that were related to the way of the sword. Yi Wuxia had obtained one of them, and her attainment in the way of the sword was the best in 1,000 years. Of course, Yi Wuxia was definitely an expert who had comprehended sword intent. Jiang, the sword rainbow that soared into the sky, pierced through the formation above the arena. The sword aura that suppressed the entire arena seemed to contain a willpower that cut through the void, pressing forward with an indomitable will. Shua. A portion of Lin Tong's finger was cut off. A wisp of sword light circled around his neck. I admit defeat. Lin Tong stood still and didn't move. Even under normal circumstances, he wouldn't be able to block a single sword from Tsang Yue. Between him and Tsang Yue, there was only one outcome, the other being insta-killed. Unfortunately, it was the latter. Of the 4 stars, Tsang Yue was the only one without a bloodline, but she had managed to condense a seed of sword intent at the last moment. Originally, I only had a 50% chance of winning against Tsang Yue, but now that she has comprehended the seed of sword intent, my chance of winning is probably less than 20%. Zhao Feng furrowed his eyebrows as the pressure on him increased. Tsang Yue, comprehending the seed of sword intent, was an anomaly, and this was something that no one had expected. The power of sword intent could slash through the void, so it could naturally slash through mental energy attacks. Once one comprehended the power of nothingness, which was similar to sword intent, a sword cultivator would be able to restrain secret spirit techniques. In terms of normal attacks, Zhao Feng estimated that he would be insta-killed by Tsang Yue. The only anomaly was the god's spiritual eye. Just by using bloodline power, Zhao Feng would definitely lose. Only by using the god spiritual eye would he have a chance of winning. On the finals arena, the dust had settled on an unprecedented battle of the pinnacle. At this moment, Song Yue had gathered all the glory on her body, and it seemed that she was destined to continue to step on all the geniuses of the 13 clans. In the eyes of the geniuses, Song Yue's footsteps were getting further and further away. Even someone as strong as Lin Tong, who had comprehended the seed of sword intent, had been insta-killed. The others probably had no hope at all. However, there were still some gazes that landed on the azure-haired one-eyed youth. Zhao Feng was expressionless as his eyes twinkled. At least, he had no intention of retreating. On the finals arena, round after round of the finals continued. In the 7th round, Zhao Feng had met a strong opponent. Zhao Feng versus Lin Tong. As soon as he said this, the crowd broke into an uproar. The next battle would decide the top 3 of the Alliance Banquet. If Zhao Feng lost, then the top 3 would be decided. If he could win, then there would be one last variable in the ranking battle. I can feel a similar aura from you. Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye slowly opened, but surprisingly, he didn't attack. Oh, what do you mean? Zhao Feng asked curiously. Take off your blindfold. Chapter 236. Take off your blindfold. Lin Tong's cold voice caused the representatives of the 13 clans to be confused. Everyone's gazes landed on Zhao Feng. The image that Zhao Feng had given them was one of coldness and cruelty. What was hard to forget was the azure hair and the cruel one eye. Especially the latter. It gave Zhao Feng a sense of cruelty and cruelty. And from Lin Tong's words, could there be something more to Zhao Feng's other eye? What was going on? No wonder he's the star of the alliance that cultivates the heavenly absent eye. A light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes. Zhao Feng was wary of Lin Tong, who had a higher mastery of mental energy than him. However, this was the time to train his god's spiritual eye. Zhao Feng made up his mind. Under everyone's gaze, Zhao Feng slowly took off his silver blindfold. Beneath the blindfold was a pair of dull, gray eyes. Everyone's heart went cold. But in the next instant, a layer of azure light appeared in Zhao Feng's gray left eye. Slowly, the azure eye became like a perfect gem, and the light contained an invisible sharpness that seemed to be able to see through anything. Everyone who came into contact with this, I felt their minds tremble. They felt as if their hearts were being seen through, as if all their secrets could be seen through. This is your mental energy eye technique? We're the same type of person. A smile appeared on Lin Tong's face as the bloodline power in his body trembled slightly. It was unknown whether it was excitement or uneasiness. At the same time, the spectating stand was also in shock. What kind of mental energy eye technique is this? It has such a strong, piercing power. It's similar to the legendary Heavenly Eagle Eye, but it's obviously the same as Lin Tong. It's a mental energy eye technique built on bloodline power. The upper echelon of the ancient shrine were in an uproar. They had never seen Zhao Feng's mental energy eye technique before, and there weren't any records of it in the ancient books. Heavenly absent eye. Lin Tong's black robe fluttered even though there was no wind. A mysterious and formless energy permeated the air, cold and bizarre. His deep eyes were like an abyss, with a rotating red dot of light in the center. The surrounding area suddenly dimmed a little. Lin Tong was like the uncrowned king of the night. Whoosh! Zhao Feng's mind swayed, and he had the illusion that space had been replaced. The next moment, Zhao Feng was in a pitch-black space. At a speed visible to the naked eye, a black iron prison formed where he stood and bound him tightly. In a pitch-black space, it was cold, gloomy, and strange. Zhao Feng was shackled in the black iron prison, isolated like never before. In the opposite pitch-black space, Lin Tong stood in the air like an uncrowned king, looking down from above. Using mental illusion to create a prison, trapping the target's consciousness in the environment, making them unable to extricate themselves, Zhao Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. His body was still on the wind cloud arena, but his consciousness was in this place. In the real world, no matter how strong he was, without his consciousness, he was just a walking corpse. In the mental energy dimension, time flows differently from the outside world. Your consciousness will be trapped in my heavenly absent eyes illusion, and you will suffer endless torture. Torturing you for a day will only take a few breaths in the real world. Lin Tong laughed savagely as a barbed iron whip appeared in his hand, which he whipped toward Zhao Feng. "Huh!" Zhao Feng groaned as a bloody mark appeared on his body. Although this attack wouldn't affect the physical body in the real world, the mental energy would suffer endless torture, tiring it to the point of collapsing and fainting. Normal people can only last for 2 hours. That bitch Tsang Yue managed to endure my torture for 20 hours. I wonder how long you can last. Lin Tong licked his lips as the whip in his hand whistled towards Zhao Feng. "Pa! Pa!" When the whip landed on Lin Tong's body, it brought out a bloody and painful scene. It was already incredible for normal people to be able to endure this for a while. How long one could last was related to one's willpower. Of course, Lin Tong's mental energy wasn't limitless. If one's willpower was limitless, Lin Tong could die from exhaustion. However, those who practiced the occult spirit technique had much stronger willpower than ordinary people. This was especially so for those with a strong source of mental energy. At this moment, Zhao Feng was trapped in the black metal prison, enduring Lin Tong's endless torture. First it was the whip, then it was the other weapons. The torture had exceeded one's imagination. It's hard to imagine that a girl like Tsang Yue could last 20 hours in this situation. No wonder she could form a seed of sore intent. Zhao Feng thought about how terrifying Tsang Yue was. Under normal situations, even cultivators at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm could only stay here for 2 hours, and that was already their limit. But in this mental energy prison, 2 hours was only the blink of an eye in the outside world. Therefore, Lin Tong's opponents had all been insta-killed by a glance. Without being there himself, he wouldn't be able to understand the pain and feeling. Your source of mental energy is stronger than I imagined. It's so easy for you to take such a powerful attack. Lin Tong floated in the abyss. He continued. A cold smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face as his azure left eye stared at this weird prison. Good. Let's see how long you can last. Lin Tong's attacks increased dramatically. All sorts of weapons, blades, swords, sticks, flames, and hail enveloped Zhao Feng within the black metal prison. Zhao Feng remained expressionless as he took all the attacks head-on. He understood that these attacks wouldn't do any damage to his body in the real world. All of this was due to the nature of mental energy illusions. What was damaged and weakened was one's consciousness. However, Zhao Feng's source of mental energy was extremely strong. In the dimension of his left eye, the azure abyss continued to spin and the color became darker. On the finals arena, Zhao Feng and Lin Tong faced each other. Lin Tong's heavenly absent, I was like an abyss with a red dot spinning. Zhao Feng's azure left, I was still bright and sharp. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, time passed. It was a short amount of time, but it seemed to be extremely slow. 4 to 5 breaths later, cold sweat appeared on Lin Tong's forehead as he clenched his fists and struggled. On the ancient shrine side, it's already been so long, and they still haven't taken care of this brat. The situation isn't looking good for Lin Tong. This brat surnamed Zhao is too weird. His source of mental energy is unfathomable, but he hasn't taken much damage yet. The higher-ups of the ancient shrine had solemn expressions. Usually, Lin Tong only needed 1 breath to defeat an opponent, and the current situation was extremely weird. Zhao Feng stood still with a smile on his face. His azure hair danced in the wind as if he was very relaxed. In the pitch-black dimension, how is this possible? Lin Tong's face was filled with shock as he looked at Zhao Feng, who was in the black metal prison. He had tortured Zhao Feng for a few hours, but the latter was like a deep ocean that took all his attacks without making a sound. Lin Tong felt that his mental energy attacks were like hitting a lifeless rock, and some of them were even absorbed by the opponent. Zhao Feng's resistance towards mental energy attacks was extremely strong. Back then, the hooded figure's consciousness had almost been devoured by him. Lin Tong's secret technique belonged to the mental energy category. It wasn't that invasive, but it focused on illusions and trapping. At this moment, Lin Tong's consciousness was slightly tired, but Zhao Feng was full of energy. All right, that's it. I've pretty much grasped your mental energy technique. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye suddenly flashed with an azure light, as if there was an invisible blade that cut through space. Crack! The mental energy prison created by Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye instantly collapsed. On the finals arena, Lin Tong was slightly panting. His mental energy was slightly exhausted. Zhao Feng was full of energy, and his left eye was abnormally sharp. How is this possible? He's almost immune to my mental energy technique. Lin Tong's face was full of shock, and his words were incoherent. Ever since he had mastered the heavenly absent eye, he had always been successful. It was his first time meeting a freak like Zhao Feng, who was almost immune to mental energy attacks. It's my turn now. Zhao Feng lightly smiled. His azure eye was deep and boundless, like a small abyss that spun quickly. Shua! Lin Tong's mind shook, and he was pulled by a powerful mental energy. In the next instant, Lin Tong stood in the sky, filled with dark clouds. The boundary of space was the boundless blue sky. How is this possible? This is an illusion technique of my heavenly absent eye, Lin Tong exclaimed. At this moment, the space he was standing in was the illusion space created by Zhao Feng using the god's spiritual eye. That's right, your heavenly absent eye has been learnt by me, and I've merged it with my lightning profound. I've been tortured by you for 20 hours. Treat it as my tuition fee. Zhao Feng faintly smiled. As his words landed, in the blue sky, dark clouds flashed, and bolts of lightning descended from the sky. Lin Tong wanted to struggle, but the surrounding arcs of azure lightning bound him, numbing his body and making it hard for him to move. Break! Break for me! Lin Tong circulated his mental energy technique, wanting to break through this blue sky illusion. However, Zhao Feng's source of mental energy was extremely strong, and under the control of the god's spiritual eye, this blue sky illusion was abnormally firm, and it was constantly changing. How can you have such high attainments in mental energy illusion techniques? Lin Tong was struck by bolts of lightning, and his body was charred black, as he looked at Zhao Feng in disbelief. Zhao Feng's mental energy illusion techniques were already extraordinary before he joined the Alliance banquet. This was related to the illusion fish picture that he had comprehended. The illusion fish picture belonged to the Tao of illusions, and it was the same as mental energy illusion techniques. Zhao Feng had comprehended the illusion fish picture, which allowed him to be like a fish in water in terms of mental energy illusion techniques. It was because of this that Zhao Feng could learn Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye in such a short amount of time and merge it with his own. The blue sky illusion that I've created is controlled by the god's spiritual eye, and the power of the illusion is even stronger, making it hard to break through. Merging in the lightning profound will make it even more offensive. Let's see how long you can last. Zhao Feng coldly smiled. Apparently, this was a great battle of mental illusions. Zhao Feng caught up and trapped Lin Tong in the blue sky illusion. Rumble, dark clouds, lightning, wind, and rain formed an endless bombardment on Lin Tong. 2 hours later, Lin Tong's mental energy was scattered, and he couldn't resist at all, and his consciousness was blurry. Shua! On the finals arena. Plop! Lin Tong half knelt on the ground, his body drenched in cold sweat, his face pale and weak. Chapter 237. The instant Lin Tong lost, the crowd broke out into chaos, and the expressions of the members of the ancient shrine changed. The fight between Zhao Feng and Lin Tong had lasted less than 10 breaths and couldn't be seen in the real world. Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye had always insta-killed his opponent. Even when facing the #1 star, Song Yue, he had only used one glance, and although he had lost, the result had only been a thought. This time, Lin Tong's loss was even worse. He had been defeated by his opponent in his area of expertise. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had only used one glance to defeat him. How is this possible? He has such an eye bloodline, such a powerful source of mental energy, stealing the opponent's secret technique. Lin Tong's eyes were dazed as if he couldn't accept this result. The shock that Zhao Feng's god spiritual I had given him was too great. He broke his heavenly absent eyes' psychic illusion with one glance, and in just a few breaths he stole his secret skill. Furthermore, the opponent's source of mental energy was almost immune to mental energy attacks. In comparison, the bloodline that he was so proud of wasn't even worth looking at. Zhao Feng wins. Lin Tong seemed to wake up from a dream as he looked deeply at Zhao Feng. Back in the group arena, when he faced Zhao Feng for the first time, he had felt his eye bloodline tremble uneasily. At that time, Lin Tong's heart was filled with shock and battle intent. Only now did Lin Tong realize that the feeling from his bloodline wasn't an illusion. When Zhao Feng walked off the arena, countless gazes locked onto his face. Most of these gazes were filled with fear and wariness, but there was also a flash of cold, killing intent. This brat can't be allowed to live. The sense of danger in Haiyun Master's heart became stronger. Ever since the floating crest trial, Zhao Feng's unbelievable growth had increased the pressure on him. And now, Zhao Feng had finally revealed his talent. Such a powerful eye bloodline. If he was allowed to grow, what would happen? At the same time, Haiyun Master realized that Zhao Feng's disguise had even fooled him. Zhao Feng had such a temperament at such a young age. He had endured in the sect for such a long time. His temperament was not something his peers could compare to. Thinking to there, Haiyun Master's heart went cold. This brat's eye bloodline is so strong. It's the bane of the ancient shrine. If you can't use it for yourself, it's best to kill it. The upper echelon of the ancient shrine started to discuss amongst themselves. Zhao Feng's senses were extremely powerful. He could vaguely capture the emotions in the surrounding spiritual waves. He smiled indifferently and swept his gaze across the crowd. Whoosh! When the god's spiritual eye swept over, the representative disciples felt an indescribable pain in their hearts, as if their bodies had been pierced through. Those who had ulterior motives felt guilty and uneasy. On the side of the Cloudward sect, I didn't expect him to defeat Lin Tong so easily. Song Yue sat cross-legged with a slightly pale face as she stared at the finals arena. Behind her, the three elders at the True Spirit realm sent wisps of warm chi of true spirit into her body. Yue's consciousness was on the verge of collapsing when she comprehended the seed of sword intent. At that time, she was extremely weak, and Lin Tong's counterattack before his defeat left a problem for her. The Cloud Sword clan's first elder sighed. Luckily, we gave her the precious Clear Mind spiritual pill, and most of the damage to her mental energy has been healed. The only troublesome thing is the crack in her mind. If it isn't healed soon, Yue's seed of sword intent will leave an obvious flaw. The Cloud Sword clan's clan master had a worried expression. Song Yue's body wasn't injured at all. From the start of the Alliance banquet until now, no one had been able to do this. However, Lin Tong, who was ranked second among the Alliance's new stars, was no pushover. Using Lin Tong's words, Song Yue had been trapped in the illusion and tortured for 20 hours. For a girl, this was unimaginable mental torture. Song Yue had comprehended the seed of sword intent at the end of her mental energy collapse. At that time, her mind was extremely weak, and she even suffered Lin Tong's counterattack. The seed of sword intent is even more important to Yue than the shedding spiritual pill. This Zhao Feng is extremely strong, and his mental energy is even more terrifying than Lin Tong's. From my point of view, we should make Yue give up on fighting Zhao Feng. No, our Cloud Sword clan is the #1 clan in the Alliance. How can we give up on this glory? Furthermore, Yue won't give up so easily. Yue has comprehended the seed of sword intent and can slash through the void. As long as she can block one round of Zhao Feng's mental energy, the seed of sword intent will be even stronger than before. Just one sword will be enough to decide the winner. At this point in time, the upper echelon of the Cloud Sword clan started to argue. From the current situation, Sang Yue had a higher chance of winning, at least 70% or more. This was because the seed of sword intent had the ability to slash through the void. Even Lin Tong's heavenly absent, I could slash through it with a thought. But the problem was that Sang Yue's mental energy was damaged and the seed of sword intent needed to be stabilized. If it was a normal opponent, it wouldn't be a problem. However, Zhao Feng was extremely strong, and even Lin Tong had been easily defeated by him. Even after Sang Yue had comprehended the seed of sword intent, she had to admit that this was a strong opponent. Clan Master, Master Elders, I made up my mind. As a swordsman, I will charge forward. Furthermore, getting first in the Alliance Banquet is also Yue's wish. Sang Yue's face was resolute and filled with unparalleled conviction. The aura of sword intent around her caused the surrounding swords to lightly hum. On the finals arena, the battles were still ongoing. After the 8th round, there was only one suspense left in the Alliance Banquet. 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place, these rankings were basically confirmed, and there wasn't much suspense. The only suspense was who would reach the top, first in the Alliance Banquet. This was a glory for any of the 13 clans. For everyone, this was a moment that would be recorded in history. Who will be first between Zhao Feng and Sang Yue? Regarding this topic, the members of the 13 clans discussed endlessly. Sang Yue definitely has a higher chance of winning. She has comprehended the seed of sword intent, and probably no one under the true spirit realm will be able to block one sword from her. But Sang Yue's battle with Lin Tong seems to have left a problem. Otherwise, why would she send 3 elders at the true spirit realm to help her heal? Zhao Feng hasn't lost a single battle yet, and his true strength hasn't been confirmed yet. I think this battle is going to be very dangerous. Although the finals were still ongoing, the majority of the people were only concerned about who would be first. Finally, at the 10th round, the Alliance Banquet welcomed the pinnacle of battles. Sang Yue versus Zhao Feng. This was the last battle. Whether it was the elders at the true spirit realm or the disciples, they were all looking forward to it. Zhao Feng expressionlessly stepped onto the arena. Sang Yue was a bit slower and had arrived from the spectating stand. Her expression seemed to have returned to normal, and a sliver of sword intent appeared in her eyes that made others unable to look directly at her. Sang Yue had comprehended the seed of sword intent, and when she looked into her eyes, the power of the sword that surpassed the physical dimension could instantly cause the opponent to collapse. This meant that normal experts at the 6th or 7th sky would instantly lose their confidence and battle intent when they looked into her eyes. From this, one could see how powerful sword intent was. Sword intent contained the belief of the sword and had merged with the intent of the sword. This power was displayed in the form of mental energy and could destroy the void and surpass the physical dimension. When Sang Yue stepped onto the arena, her sword intent was condensed to the maximum. Amidst the sword aura that suppressed the entire area, there was a will power that cut through the void and pressed forward with indomitable will. The weird thing was, both Zhao Feng and Sang Yue didn't attack immediately. After her battle with Lin Tong, Sang Yue understood that mental energy attacks were faster than sword attacks. Furthermore, he had comprehended the seed of sword intent, so he was just waiting for Zhao Feng to use his mental energy technique. He would be able to destroy the void with one sword strike. Sang Yue, the wound on your mind hasn't healed yet. When your mental energy is weak, the seed of sword intent won't be stable, and it might even have a fatal flaw. Zhao Feng stood with his hands behind his back and faintly smiled. He also didn't attack immediately. Zhao Feng's gaze met Sang Yue's. Even though Sang Yue had comprehended the seed of sword intent, her heart shook when she met Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye. It was a limitless eye that seemed to be the eye of the heavens that looked down on the heavens. The pressure I gave her was several times stronger than Lin Tong's heavenly absent eye. Song Yue's blood froze due to the uneasiness in her body. This was because she didn't have a bloodline power and was at a disadvantage compared to Zhao Feng and company. So what? Even under this situation, I still have the confidence to beat you in one sword. Song Yue's aura of sword intent became stronger and stronger, and the sword in her hand lightly trembled, letting out a humming sound. This was the confidence to win in one sword. After comprehending the seed of sword intent, Song Yue's strength had risen to a whole new level. Amongst the disciples of the 13 clans, no one had the confidence to take one sword from her, including Zhao Feng. You're wrong. It's all a competition, but no one has been able to threaten or harm me from the division competition all the way to the wind and cloud competition. Even Lin Tong was easily defeated by me, but you were nearly defeated, and there was even a scar left on your mind. Zhao Feng's azure hair blew in the wind, and his battle intent skyrocketed. The god's spiritual eye flashed with a sharp azure light, as if it was looking down on everything. So what? Song Yue felt that Zhao Feng's belief and will was rising, and under the gaze of the god's spiritual eye, she felt as if it was going to attack her seed of sword intent. What I can do, you can't. This means that you have a fatal flaw. Zhao Feng said calmly. Song Yue paused before smiling in disdain. However, Zhao Feng's following words caused her heart to shake. Your strength, your background, they've all been exposed to me. You haven't even seen my true strength and methods. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye flashed with a sharp azure light. Every word, every syllable, and every breath contained a mysterious power that shook the soul. Under the gaze of the god's spiritual eye, Song Yue's body stiffened as sword intent circulated in her eyes. The coldness of having all her secrets seen covered her heart, and this was the reason why she didn't immediately slash out. Yue, don't be affected by his words. He's trying to find a flaw in your heart. Don't listen to him. Since you've already slashed out, your belief is invincible and you can defeat him. The elders of the Cloud Sword clan were slightly anxious. Chapter 238. It wasn't hard for outsiders to see that Zhao Feng was unknowingly destroying Song Yue's faith in the way of the sword. Under the lock of the god's spiritual eye and using mental energy techniques, Zhao Feng's every word contained the power to shake the soul. At the same time, his own fighting spirit and conviction were continuously condensing. Just a few simple words showed his unparalleled confidence. Faintly, Zhao Feng's strong and unfathomable image was carved into Song Yue's heart. At this moment, the power of Song Yue's seed of sword intent was being suppressed and even showed signs of weakening. This was what Zhao Feng wanted to achieve. Any expert in the way of the sword had a strong faith in the way of the sword. If she didn't have this faith, Song Yue wouldn't have been able to condense her seed of sword intent. In Song Yue's heart, once she slashed out, any opponent in the alliance banquet would have to surrender. It was this strong faith that increased the power of her sword. On the other hand, Zhao Feng used the god's spiritual eye and mental energy techniques to attack Song Yue's seed of sword intent and weaken her faith. Weakening the opponent was the same as increasing his chances of winning. The battle between experts wasn't just a simple battle of strength. It also involved experience, skill, mentality, and etc. How can the power of the seed of sword intent be something you can guess? Song Yue lightly harumphed, and her powerful sword aura under the control of the seed of sword intent rushed out like a flood, pressuring Zhao Feng's soul and body. She clearly knew what Zhao Feng was trying to do, but she was still affected by it. At this moment, she gathered her faith and sword aura to counter Zhao Feng. Jiang, the 3-foot-long green sword came out of its sheath, and an invisible sword aura locked onto Zhao Feng. Let's see if you can win with this sword. Zhao Feng smiled calmly as his Yin shadow cloak fluttered in the wind, and his body was much dimmer than usual. At this moment, the earth-shattering sword aura gave off a terrifying might as it charged toward Zhao Feng. Before Tsang Yue's sword even slashed out, the seed of sword intent had already pierced his soul. If it was an ordinary person, just this formless sword aura alone would be enough to cause their mind to collapse, rendering them powerless to fight. Zhao Feng's expression was indifferent, and he did not move. Heavenly cloud, sword slash. A sliver of sword intent flashed through Tsang Yue's eyes as her sword slashed through the clouds like a rainbow. Puff, puff. The array formation above the array formation platform was instantly torn and pierced. This attack was stronger than any of Tsang Yue's previous attacks, and it had reached a whole new level. Before, when Tsang Yue hadn't comprehended the seed of sword intent, no one had been able to block her full-powered attack at the Alliance Banquet. Victory or defeat depended on this one move. Zhao Feng took a deep breath as his left eye locked onto Tsang Yue. The instant before she attacked, his bloodline power exploded without any restraint. Wang, a faint layer of azure blood flowed around his body. In an instant, a glass-like azure tattoo appeared on Zhao Feng's body. It was like an ancient totem, ancient and noble, but it also had a hint of evil to it. His flesh, blood, and bones were filled with an invisible aura. The disciples of the various sects nearby felt their qi and blood freeze for some reason, and their minds became uneasy. This was especially true for Zhao Yufei, Lin Tong, and the others who possessed bloodline power. Their bloodlines were trembling uneasily. At this moment, Zhao Feng's mind, energy, and energy were all greatly boosted, and his body seemed to have gained a mysterious protection. What kind of bloodline power is this? It's a very ancient aura that probably comes from the ancient era or even the immemorial era. The older the bloodline, the stronger the ancestor's power. But at the same time, the bloodline becomes thinner and the chances of the next generation inheriting it are also lower. On the Iron Dragon Country's side, a few mysterious figures sighed in amazement. Bloodlines were extremely rare in the 13 clans, and there would only be a few in 1,000 years. However, these people seem to have a deeper understanding of bloodlines. Break! Zhao Feng's azure hair blew in the wind, and his eyebrows turned faint azure. The glass-like azure rune on his body gave off a faint glow. An invisible aura turned into a mental energy sound wave as Zhao Feng roared and swept across the area. The nearby black sand could be seen shattering at a speed visible to the naked eye. A transparent azure ring could be seen in the air charging towards Tsang Yue. This wasn't just a simple mental energy technique. It was Zhao Feng using his god's spiritual eye to release the mysterious power of his bloodline. In that instant, a dazzling azure appeared in Zhao Feng's azure eye and spun at a high speed, forming an azure abyss that seemed to extend to the other side of time and space. Boom! Boom! Tsang Yue only felt her heart shake and her blood boil. If it wasn't for the powerful sword aura suppressing the entire area, under normal situations, this power would have made her spit out blood. The sword intent condensed in her eyes, clashed with the azure abyss in Zhao Feng's eye, and sparks seemed to appear in the air. A clash of this level was more than 10 times faster than normal mental energy techniques. The majority of Tsang Yue's sword intent aura instantly dissipated. The sword intent seed condensed her belief and comprehension in the sword Tao. When this formless energy dissipated, the dazzling sword that shot into the sky lost its charm, and its might decreased sharply. Not good. Tsang Yue's seed of sword intent isn't stable yet. This brat's bloodline power leans towards mental energy and contains a power similar to sword intent. The expressions of the upper echelons of the Cloud Sword clan changed dramatically. What was even more subtle was that all of Zhao Feng's actions had been prepared the instant before Tsang Yue's attack. Although his sudden attack didn't completely destroy Tsang Yue's sword intent, it had interrupted it and made Tsang Yue's mind uneasy. Shua! The sky-slashing sword flew towards Zhao Feng at a speed that surpassed normal people's reactions. If it was anyone else at the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm, they probably wouldn't be able to dodge it. However, under the lock of the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng had a rough estimate of Song Yue's attack. The trajectory of the sword could be slowed down by tens of times or even 100 times in his eyes. However, Song Yue's sword still contained a portion of the seed of sword intent, which locked onto Zhao Feng's mental energy. Wang, the azure glass-like tattoo on Zhao Feng's body, gave off a faint glow, and it had a layer of protection. Even without the protection, with Zhao Feng's strong mental energy source, he could ignore the majority of the sword intent. Zhao Feng's most important step had been completed. To weaken or destroy Song Yue's sword intent, the attack that she was most proud of as a sword cultivator would be greatly reduced. Wind lightning destruction. A dazzling azure lightning appeared around Zhao Feng's body, and the wind and lightning intertwined, forming a tornado that destroyed everything in its path. Boom! The lightning tornado exploded and layers of sword intent fell, covering a radius of dozens of yards and creating a large black hole with an unfathomable depth. Such shocking destructive power made the spectators' hearts shake. It was hard to imagine that this was the power of the Ascended Realm. Chill! A faint azure figure flashed through the air like an arc of lightning. The instant Zhao Feng took the attack head-on, his figure flashed and left behind an arc of lightning. But even then, blood leaked from the corner of his mouth, and there was a deep gash on his shoulder. From this, one could see how strong Song Yue's attack was. One had to know that at that moment, Zhao Feng had fully opened his bloodline power, and his lightning wind palm was pushed to the peak's 6th level. Even Ao Yuetian, who had strong defense, could be defeated in one palm. Luckily, Zhao Feng had successfully blocked Song Yue's full-powered attack. This was something that had never happened before in the history of the Alliance Banquet. As long as he did this, half of the victory belonged to Zhao Feng. At this moment, Song Yue had just calmed down and started to condense the seed of sword intent. Zhao Feng's mysterious and powerful methods had left an unforgettable impression on her. As a sword cultivator, their strongest point was their offense, and the seed of sword intent was where their soul was. She had accumulated her strength to the peak, the strongest sword strike of her life, but it was actually neutralized by her opponent. Furthermore, the coldness of having all her secrets seen through it covered her heart. The timing of Zhao Feng's attack, just now, was too coincidental. It was neither too early nor too late, right when she attacked. Song Yue even had the feeling that her attacks were all under the opponent's control. Song Yue, you've already lost your chance to win. Zhao Feng's faint azure figure charged towards Song Yue with a terrifying speed. Song Yue held her azure sword and found that she couldn't lock onto Zhao Feng. Only by using the seed of sword intent would she have a chance. At this moment, Zhao Feng had fully opened his bloodline power, and with the help of the Yin Shadow Cloak, his illusion fish lightning arc step was pushed to the extreme. This wasn't just because of his speed. Zhao Feng's movement skill contained the word illusion, and under the mental energy of the god's spiritual eye, it could confuse one's mind. However, Song Yue's seed of sword intent could still lock onto Zhao Feng and attack. Too late. A light laugh sounded in her ears. Zhao Feng's body was dark green, and he was like the god of lightning. His speed suddenly rose as he charged forward, leaving behind an arc of lightning. Song Yue's second sword had only slashed out halfway when a shocking mental energy power shot out from Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye and once again suppressed and destroyed her seed of sword intent. At the same time, the sound of lightning rang in her ears and shook her blood. Song Yue's body went numb, and panic appeared in her eyes for the first time. Ever since she had started cultivating, she had used her sword skills to suppress everyone. No one in the same generation had been able to block her attacks, let alone close combat. Her second sword wasn't completed in the end. In the entire sparring, Song Yue had only completed one sword. By the time Zhao Feng got close, the battle had already ended. If it was said that Song Yue's attack power had reached a value of 10, then her defense, movement, and other aspects wouldn't exceed 5. On the other hand, Zhao Feng's offense, defense, movement, mental energy, and special abilities all exceeded 6, with some nearing 9. Song Yue only felt a strong electric shock spread from her feet to her entire body. She condensed her sword chi, and just as she got rid of this numbing feeling, a palm covered in lightning slapped onto her shoulder. Her weak defense made Song Yue spit out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Chapter 239. The pinnacle battle of the Alliance Banquet had been decided in one move. Song Yue's sword attacks were still unparalleled, but she was still the loser. How was this possible? How did Zhao Feng win so easily? Just one move? Why do I feel like Song Yue went easy on him? The crowd went into an uproar. Most of the representative disciples were confused. From the surface, it seemed that Zhao Feng had won too easily. From the beginning to the end, he had been unfathomable and victory was in his grasp. This gave others the feeling that Song Yue was going easy or that she wasn't up to par. In reality, Zhao Feng had won this battle by luck. If he had made the slightest mistake, he would have been knocked off his horse by Song Yue. There were very few people who could see the situation clearly. How unfortunate. Song Yue had a 70% chance of winning, but she lost like this. Song Yue's mind was injured and her seed of sword intent had just formed. Her cultivation wasn't stable, and that's why this brat used her. The elders of the Cloud Sword Clan sighed. Song Yue had lost this battle too unjustly. She had the power of the unparalleled, but she had lost for no reason. Even those at the true spirit realm could see the key to victory. Firstly, from the start, Zhao Feng had used words to shake Song Yue's confidence. Firstly, Zhao Feng had locked on at Song Yue with his god's spiritual eye and knew all of her secrets. Secondly, mental energy attacks were everywhere. Furthermore, Song Yue's mind had been injured and her seed of sword intent wasn't stable yet. This meant that, from the start, Zhao Feng had grasped Song Yue's weakness. This was where the god's spiritual eye excelled, and when combined with mental energy attacks, the effect was multiplied. Even if Song Yue understood Zhao Feng's intentions, she wouldn't be able to escape and could only condense her seed of sword intent to counterattack Zhao Feng. Once again, he was led by the nose by Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had successfully shaken Song Yue's faith, and as God's spiritual, I was able to control it. The instant Song Yue attacked, he combined his God's spiritual eye and bloodline power to destroy Song Yue's sword intent. This second step was also built on the foundation of the first step in order to achieve better results. Song Yue wasn't careful and was hit once again. The majority of her sword intent was destroyed, and her attack was almost broken. Of course, the unique power of Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye and his own bloodline power also shocked the soul at that moment. At the crucial moment, he had defeated Song Yue's sword intent and resisted it. In the end, Zhao Feng had paid the price of being injured to block Song Yue's sword. In this way, the scales of victory leaned towards Zhao Feng. In the first few steps, Zhao Feng had shaken Song Yue's faith in the sword time and time again, defeating her sword intent and successfully blocking her sword. This pushed the situation to the extreme. When Song Yue's blood calmed down and she condensed her sword intent a second time, it was easily defeated by Zhao Feng. When he got closer, the outcome was already decided. Cultivators of the way of the sword all walked the path of unconventional swords, pursuing the ultimate attack, breaking all techniques with a single sword. In terms of offense, they naturally surpassed those of the same cultivation. However, everything had its pros and cons. Apart from offense, sword cultivators were lacking in other methods, as well as the ability to protect themselves. In the world of the clan, there were all sorts of mysterious skills and methods that were hard to defend against. For example, the 100 Graves Forbidden Ground had a curse that even those at the true spirit realm couldn't escape from. Therefore, Zhao Feng didn't envy the path of the sword. There were too many methods in the world that could kill you at any moment. If Song Yue hadn't comprehended the seed of sword intent, Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye, or Lin Tong's heavenly absent, I would be able to kill her in the blink of an eye. Zhao Feng wins. The judge at the true spirit realm looked at Zhao Feng with a complex expression. The reason why Zhao Feng could win this battle wasn't because of his strength, but because of his psychological tactics. After all, under normal circumstances, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to block Song Yue's sword with the seed of sword intent. It could be said that Song Yue's sword attacks were unrivaled under the true spirit realm. When the victor was announced, Song Yue's consciousness woke up. Her face was pale white, and her eyes were cold as she locked onto Zhao Feng. An invisible sword intent filled the air. After losing, Song Yue understood the reason. That kind of attack that could penetrate one's soul made one tremble in fear. Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye exchanged glances with Song Yue. He wasn't afraid of her sword intent. The god spiritual eye contained a mysterious power under the control of his bloodline power. Right now, Zhao Feng didn't know how to use it, so he focused more on protecting himself than on attacking. Back when he had entered the 100 Graves forbidden ground, the power of the curse couldn't even get close to Zhao Feng's body. At this moment, the victor had been decided. Zhao Feng and Song Yue wouldn't say anything else. Zhao Feng's victory might have been due to luck, but all of his methods could be seen as hidden strength. Spectating stand, Broken Moon Clan's side. He won. He actually succeeded. First Elder couldn't suppress the excitement in his heart, and his eyes started to tear up. First place in the Alliance Banquet was the highest honor for the Sky Cloud Forest area. This was the first time in 1,000 years that the Broken Moon Clan had won. In the past, the disciples of the Broken Moon Clan were always at the bottom of the Alliance Banquet. It was hard for one or two of them to even enter the top 20. But this time, first place belonged to the Broken Moon Clan. Of the top 12, Beimua would probably be able to enter the top 10. Although Yonggan didn't enter the final battles, he was still in the top 20. The joy in the hearts of the Broken Moon Clan Master and the others couldn't be described. Only Haiyun Master's smile was slightly unnatural as he tried to hide the shock and uneasiness in his heart. The thing he didn't want to see the most had finally happened. After the floating crest trial, Zhao Feng had created miracles step by step and turned the impossible into the possible. In terms of talent, potential, will, and personality, Zhao Feng was top class. This was especially so in terms of will and mentality. Zhao Feng was much more mature than other youths of the same age, and his thoughts were meticulous. The other clans of the 13 clans looked at each other and discussed. This was especially so for the Cloud Sword Clan and Ancient Shrine. Their expressions were extremely ugly. The glory of being first in the alliance had fallen to the Broken Moon Clan. The entire Lin Moon sect was astonished as well. The 3 Moon clans were one, and the Broken Moon Clan's strength had always been at the bottom. In the 3-clan party, the Broken Moon Clan had already broken the norm and surprised everyone. But now it seemed that the Broken Moon Clan had held back last time. After the battle between Zhao Feng and Song Yue, the Alliance Banquet came to an end. Zhao Feng and Song Yue didn't face any resistance in the following battles. Each of the 12 people had to fight 11 battles. This was a battle of willpower and strength. Finally, Zhao Feng won all 11 battles, and no one could compare to him. Song Yue won 10 battles. Lin Tong won 9 battles, and only lost to Zhao Feng and Song Yue. Without a doubt, Zhao Feng was the undisputed king of the Alliance Banquet, the #1 king. I wasn't able to catch up to him. Zhao Yufei's eyes dimmed slightly. On the arena, Zhao Yufei had been completely defeated by Zhao Feng and didn't even have the ability to fight back. Zhao Feng's attacks, mental energy techniques, and God spiritual, I made his overall strength reach a peak. Apart from Song Yue, only those with unparalleled attacks under the true spirit realm could threaten him. However, a light soon appeared in Zhao Yufei's eyes. Since I can't surpass him, then I'll use him as my goal and chase after him for the rest of my life. This is also a kind of belief. All of a sudden, the flaw in Zhao Yufei's state of mind disappeared. Since she couldn't surpass Zhao Feng, then she might as well follow her heart and worship him, making him her goal for the rest of her life. The change in her heart made Zhao Yufei return to the pure girl from before. There were pros and cons to this. The good thing was that Zhao Yufei's heart no longer had any flaws. As long as Zhao Feng continued to grow, her heart and strength would also increase. But the bad thing was, if Zhao Feng was completely defeated in the future, it would also affect Zhao Yufei's heart. This was because Zhao Feng had already become a mountain in Zhao Yufei's heart. He had become her life goal, her dependence. 2 to 3 days later, the finals had finally come to an end. Rank 1, Zhao Feng. Rank 2, Song Yuyue. Rank 3, Lin Tong. Only 3 Rising Star Kings were chosen for the finals of the Wind and Cloud competition. As for Su Zixuan and Ao Yuetian, their strength was weaker than the top 3, and they were almost instantly defeated, so they didn't enter the Star King rankings. Immediately after, the Alliance Banquet started to give out the rewards. The Alliance Banquet was held by the 13 clans, and each clan had contributed their own resources. Those rewards actually came from the various sections. To put it more accurately, it was like a bet where the 13 clans placed a huge bet. Winning or losing depended on the disciples' rankings. Without a doubt, the top 3 and even first place would win a huge bet. Just the reward for first place was a shedding spiritual pill. Its value was immeasurable. Apparently, the 13 clans had spent a lot of money to create this pill, and they had gathered several top pill masters to successfully create it. The shedding spiritual pill could be said to be the biggest bet this time. No one would have thought that the bet for first place would be won by an unknown disciple of the Broken Moon clan. No, Zhao Feng wasn't a nameless disciple anymore. Ever since he became first, his name would be recorded in the 13 clans, and his name would spread across the Sky Cloud Forest area. On the day the Alliance Banquet ended, the top 10 went to receive their rewards. The first place this time would receive a shedding spiritual pill and 10,000 low-grade primal crystal stones, which was equivalent to 1 million substandard primal crystal stones. Apart from that, the top 3 had the right to enter the Origin Core ruins and comprehend the Origin Core ruins. Under the envious, greedy, and unwilling gazes, Zhao Feng received the shedding spiritual pill. This shedding spirit pill was placed in a translucent jade bottle. It was a thumb-sized pill that was completely green and had a layer of translucent purple ripples on its surface. As the bottle shook, a dreamy ripple appeared on the surface of the pill. As long as Zhao Feng ate this pill, he would have a 100% chance of breaking through to the next sky. Feng Er, the value of this shedding spiritual pill is too high. I suggest you eat it as soon as possible. First Elder said solemnly. Chapter 240. First Elder's suggestion made Zhao Feng's heart beat faster. The shedding spiritual pill was a Tier 3 spiritual pill, and it was considered rare even amongst Tier 3 spiritual pills. Not only could this pill increase the chances of breaking through to the true spirit realm, those under the true spirit realm would have a 100% chance of breaking through to the first sky. At this moment in time, the shedding spiritual pill on Zhao Feng's body made many people's eyes go red. Those greedy and jealous gazes were like pairs of red and green eyes under Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye. Even the disciples who were attending the Alliance Banquet, Yanggan, Beimoi, and Quan Shun, were envious and moved by the shedding spiritual pill. Master, I just reached the sixth sky not long ago. Wouldn't it be too hasty to use the shedding spiritual pill so quickly? Zhao Feng was very calm, and he wasn't blinded by the heaven-defying effects of the shedding spiritual pill. The stability of one's cultivation was the key to increasing one's cultivation. Zhao Feng had a good foundation at the consolidated realm, which was why his cultivation had steadily increased at the ascended realm. But this time, how many days had it been since he broke through to the sixth sky? Wasn't it too hasty to use the shedding spiritual pill to break through to the seventh sky? Song Yuyue was an example. She had just condensed her seed of sword intent, and her mental state wasn't stable, which was why Zhao Feng had a flaw in his cultivation. Fenger, I'm glad that you've thought of this and haven't been blinded by the short-term benefits. First Elder smiled as he exchanged glances with the Broken Moon Clan Master. The Broken Moon Clan Master and Granny Luyue both nodded their heads in praise of Zhao Feng. Back at the floating Crest Palace, Zhao Feng had given them a bad image. Only when this youth had won the title of King of the Alliance Banquet did they realize how deeply he had hidden himself. Nephew Zhao Feng, you've thought of everything. The shedding spiritual pill can be used to break through to the true spirit realm at the peak of the seventh sky. After you use this pill, we'll pour in our true force to slow down the effects of the pill so that you won't break through so quickly. The Broken Moon Clan master had a dignified appearance. Zhao Feng nodded in agreement. Whatever he could think of, his master and sect leader could also think of. Immediately, without hesitation, he swallowed the shedding spiritual pill. This action caused many of the people present to feel bitter, jealous, and hateful. However, the greed in their eyes dimmed greatly. If Zhao Feng didn't consume the shedding spiritual pill and kept it with him, they might still have a chance. But now, Zhao Feng had already consumed the shedding spiritual pill. Sit down quickly. We will help you release the medicinal power, Granny Luiwei reminded. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged as he felt a strange energy that surged like a river fill his entire body, flesh and bones, and there was even a trace of a mysterious aura that refreshed the heart that seeped into his mind. The former was a type of power that was used to transform and upgrade the body, and its explosive power was extremely strong. The latter was a type of power that allowed Zhao Feng's senses to increase in a short amount of time. In that instant, he felt as if all the acupuncture points in his body could breathe. This was especially so for his mind and the Baihui point on his head. Shua! Zhao Feng's consciousness seemed to have left his body and touched the limitless Yuan Qi of heaven and earth. The heaven-earth Yuan Qi was an aggregation that contained all sorts of different powers. There was the power of wind, the power of fire, as well as the power of lightning that Zhao Feng had comprehended. All of these powerful energies converged in the primal Qi of heaven and earth. This feeling, does it belong to the true spirit realm? As Zhao Feng breathed, he felt the heaven-earth Yuan Qi merge with his body. The power of wind and lightning were extremely close to him. He understood that this was only the temporary feeling that the shedding spiritual pill gave him. It allowed his body to come into contact with the heaven-earth Yuan Qi. Meow meow. The little thieving cat the size of a palm appeared on Zhao Feng's shoulder. At the same time, 3 powerful surges of qi of true spirit entered Zhao Feng's body and split the medicinal power of the shedding spiritual pill, slowing it down and even suppressing it to every corner of his body. The qi of true spirit was also called the power of true spirit and was the same as true force. However, those at the true spirit realm had reached the true spirit realm and could absorb the heaven-earth Yuan Qi for their own use. The force of true spirit formed was of an even higher level. 1 portion of Qi of true spirit could kill 10 portions of normal true force. This was the difference. Last time when he had returned to the Zhao clan, Zhao Feng had used a wisp of true force to destroy all of Yu Tianhua's inner strength and cripple his cultivation. This was the difference in power. At this point in time, Zhao Feng obviously wouldn't let go of the chance to experience the qi of true spirit in the true spirit realm. The little thieving cat sat lazily on Zhao Feng's shoulder, and wisps of qi of true spirit were drawn by it, and a portion of it was absorbed by it. This scene caused First Elder, the clan master, and Granny Luiwei to be stunned. The qi of true spirit was extremely high and without the corresponding level of existence. Absorbing it, even if it was just a wisp, could cause the host to self-destruct. This was like how a martial disciple at the consolidated realm could withstand the true force of the ascended realm. A wisp of true force could destroy the inner strength of a normal martial artist. The qi of true spirit was the same. Apart from being of high quality, it also had a sort of spirituality. Even if it left the body, it would still be connected to its owner. Zhao Feng also found that the qi of true spirit had a higher compatibility with the heaven-earth Yuan Qi. Those at the true spirit realm had already surpassed the limits of their physical body and could absorb large amounts of heaven-earth Yuan Qi to strengthen themselves. Time passed by minute. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged without moving and focused on sensing. Under the effect of the shedding spiritual pill, his senses had entered a whole new level in a short amount of time. At this point in time, his God spiritual I could control every detail of his body, including the changes in the heaven-earth yuan qi outside. If he could grasp this process, his chances of reaching the true spirit realm in the future would be higher than others. First Elder and the other two found something strange. The faint azure blood in the depths of Zhao Feng's bloodline power didn't fear the qi of true spirit at all. It even absorbed a bit of it and turned it into Zhao Feng's potential. There was something strange about this man and cat. It wasn't easy for outsiders to find out about Zhao Feng's situation. However, the little thieving cat was able to absorb the qi of true spirit, which was shocking. An hour later, the temporary increase in Zhao Feng's senses started to fade. The God spiritual, I had already remembered every detail of entering the mysterious state. Furthermore, Zhao Feng felt that his senses were much stronger than before, and his ability to communicate with the heaven-earth yuan qi was several times stronger. Faintly, Zhao Feng seemed to be able to use his true force to communicate with the outside world and absorb some heaven-earth yuan qi, even if it was only a small amount. Not bad. Feng O's intent is comparable to those at half-step true spirit realm. The shedding spiritual pill's reputation is indeed well-deserved. First Elder was full of smiles. At this point in time, the shedding spiritual pill's energy within Zhao Feng's body was split up and the absorption was slowed down by several times. A portion of the energy was even absorbed by his bloodline power and turned into potential. Even so, after a few hours, Zhao Feng's body had excreted several times. His body had once again evolved, and his flesh and bones were filled with pure life force. Zhao Feng's skin was white and tender, even more so than some girls. After this evolution, 90% of the toxins in his body had been expelled. Peak 6 Guy. The shedding spiritual pill's reputation is indeed well-deserved. Zhao Feng opened his eyes. In just a few hours, his state of existence had almost reached the 7th sky. At this point in time, Zhao Feng's cultivation and true force were getting used to it. The remaining energy was still slowly being released to improve his body. Feng, you'll be able to reach the 7th sky in 3 days. First Elder and company took back their qi of true spirit with smiles on their faces. Everything was going smoothly. Zhao Feng had a bloodline power, and his body was different from others. His ability to absorb the energy and qi of true spirit was much stronger than others of the same cultivation. Therefore, First Elder and company didn't need to spend too much effort. This was the benefit of having talent. Feng, tomorrow you'll be arranged to enter the Dragon Concealing Lake and comprehend the ruins of the Sovereign Concealing Dragon. This is one of the most precious treasures in the Sky Cloud Forest. First Elder warned. Apart from the shedding spiritual pill, Zhao Feng was also lucky to enter the Sovereign's ruins. If he could comprehend something in the Sovereign's ruins, the benefits might even surpass the shedding spiritual pill. Zhao Feng nodded his head and sat down cross-legged to consolidate his cultivation, waiting for the opportunity to enter the Sovereign's ruins. Over the past few days, he had gained a lot from the battles of wits and courage. Now that he had used the shedding spiritual pill to comprehend the qi of true spirit and heaven-earth yuan qi, it would take some time for Zhao Feng to digest all of this. Luckily, he had the God's spiritual eye, which allowed him to copy the important scenes and details into his mind. The God's spiritual eye's copying ability wasn't limited to words and books. It could copy some scenes and even some profound intent. Of course, this copying ability wasn't omnipotent. If the intent of a scene was too high, it would be hard to copy. Time passed quickly. Soon, it was the 2nd day. Zhao Feng's mental energy had reached a new peak, and his cultivation had surpassed Yangon. Peak 6 Sky. Zhao Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. The eyes of First Elder and company also lit up. Zhao Feng's absorption of the pill was stronger than imagined. Haiyan Clan's eyes twinkled. The upper echelon of the Broken Moon clan sent Zhao Feng to the Dragon Concealing Lake. The sovereign's ruins was in the depths of the Dragon Concealing Lake. In order to enter the Dragon Concealing Ruins, 3 experts at the true mystic rank were needed. The 3 heavens of the true spirit realm were split into the true human rank, true mystic rank, and true lord rank. The true mystic rank belonged to the second heavens, and they had already comprehended their own root of law in the heaven-earth Yuan Qi. In the entire Broken Moon clan, First Elder's cultivation didn't exceed the peak true human rank. Dragon Concealing Lake. The 3 true mystic rank experts floated in the air as if they had no weight at all. Suddenly, the 3 true mystic rank experts exclaimed in unison, and the heaven-earth Yuan Qi within a 10-mile radius started to move. Swoosh! 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 3 beams of light, white, purple, and red, intertwined with each other and turned into 3 beams of light that soared into the sky. Their sizes rapidly expanded and finally pierced through the clouds. Like an unparalleled force of heaven and earth, they opened up a vacuum abyss with a diameter of several miles in the center of the lake. This dominating power shook the heavens and made the hearts of normal true spirit realm cultivators shake. This was the first time Zhao Feng had seen the strength of the true mystic rank, and it was a shocking power. Chapter 241. The true mystic rank was the second heaven of the true spirit realm. Those at this level stood at the peak of the sky cloud forest and could summon clouds and rain with a flip of their hand. Across the entire sky cloud forest, the number of experts that had reached the true mystic rank didn't exceed the number of fingers. For example, the Broken Moon clan hadn't produced a true mystic rank expert in almost 1,000 years. The strongest of the 3 moon clans, the Lin Moon clan, had produced a true mystic rank expert 100 years ago, but left the sky cloud forest not long after breaking through and headed for the sacred land of the northern continent. The 3 true mystic rank experts in front of them came from the Cloud Sword clan, Ancient Shrine, and True Mystic clan, representing the 3 strongest clans. Even the Iron Dragon Country's arrogant group was stunned by the appearance of 3 true mystic ranks and didn't make a sound. At this moment, the 3 true mystic rank experts were the leaders of the true spirit realm experts of the 13 clans. Normally, true mystic rank experts were the grand elders of the clan and were rare to see. However, the alliance banquet that happened once every 10 years wasn't a small matter. Opening the pathway to the Origin Core ruins required true mystic rank experts. Open the array. The 3 true mystic rank Qi of true spirit connected to the heaven and earth, and the vacuum abyss below continued to expand. Around the vacuum abyss was a whirlpool of water that was hundreds of yards tall. If it collapsed, the force would be in the millions of pounds. The vacuum abyss at the center of the whirlpool expanded to several miles and didn't even touch a drop of water. Zhao Feng scanned over with his god-spiritual eye and analyzed that this was a ray pathway that required 3 true mystic rank experts to open. Hurry up. The array can only last half a day. At that time, the remnant Origin Core ruins will repel everything. The 3 true mystic rank experts stood in 3 different positions in the air. Zhao Feng, Song Yuyue, and Lin Tong flew towards the vacuum abyss under everyone's gazes. Chill. Zhao Feng was even faster than Song Yuyue and Song Yuyue, leaving behind a streak of azure lightning. In terms of speed, Zhao Feng suppressed both Song Yuyue and Lin Tong, showing that he was the unshakable number 1 star of the alliance. The lightning inheritance greatly increased his speed. This was under the circumstances that Zhao Feng didn't use his bloodline power or the Yin Shadow Cloak. The 3 true mystic ranks obviously saw all of this. The supreme elder of the Cloud Word sect, a silver-haired swordsman, was indifferent and silent. In his eyes, normal true human ranks weren't even worth mentioning, let alone a rookie. The Grand Supreme Elder of the Xianjin sect was a sage-like old Taoist. He squinted his eyes and glanced at Zhao Feng. These 2 true mystic ranks only glanced at Zhao Feng. Only the Grand Elder of the ancient shrine, a purple-haired youth with a red mole on his forehead, looked slightly devilish as he glanced at Zhao Feng coldly. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. The Grand Elder of the ancient shrine seemed to have enmity towards him. Of course, with the status of a true mystic rank expert in the cloud area, they obviously wouldn't attack a junior, even if it was the #1 genius of the alliance. Zhao Feng was puzzled in his heart. Although he had become #1, this wasn't even worth mentioning to a true mystic rank expert. Why did this person have enmity towards him? At the very least, the Grand Elders of the Cloud Word clan and Mystic True clan didn't have any enmity. Even if Zhao Feng didn't become #1, the ancient shrine wouldn't be able to vent their anger. If the Cloud Word clan was so calm, then the ancient shrine's actions were abnormal. Zhao Feng suddenly thought of the ancient shrine in the Cloud Forest. At that time, the hooded figure also came from the ancient shrine, but seemed to be on guard for the mysterious figure of the Scarlet Moon religion, and his status wasn't low. After that mission, Zhao Feng had reported it to First Elder and discussed it during the three-clan party. Because of this, the three clans had cleaned out the suspicious members and searched for spies within the clans. The conclusion was that the Scarlet Moon religion had only stayed in the cloud area for a short while and had only infiltrated the 13 clans. So, the three-star kings entered the abyss under the gazes of the various clans. As he was descending, Zhao Feng could hear the booms of the whirlpools around him. The torrent of water, measured in units of 1,000,000 kilograms, was forcefully contained. Zhao Feng, Sang Yue, and Lin Tong followed the passage to the bottom of the lake. At the bottom of the lake, there was a large crater that was tens of miles wide. Before the three even got close, they felt an unfathomable, profound force move within the crater. As they descended, it was as if there was a force that could tear through the sky and crush the 1,000,000 kilograms of water. Zhao Feng's feet went cold and his true force was suppressed by a domineering aura, making him unable to move. The three of them had an illusion that a supreme being was sitting inside the pit, and with a single slap, it could overturn rivers and seas, piercing through the clouds. This is the remnant concept force. Even now, it still communicates with heaven and earth, producing formless might. Zhao Feng was filled with respect. Sung. As the three floated into the crater, the remnant intent became stronger. The heaven-earth yuan qi in the area of the pit was in a strange state. It had a strong repulsive force against things outside the pit. Boom! The whirlpool above the crater returned to its original position and turned into 1,000,000 kilograms of water that fell down. Zhao Feng felt like he was suffocating. Even if there was only 1% of that vast torrent of water, it would be enough to crush all of them into smithereens. Once they were hit, how could flesh and blood resist the pressure of 1,000,000 kilograms? What followed next was a shocking scene. The 1,000,000 kilograms of water was stopped by an invisible force when it neared the crater, and its speed slowed down. The soil in the crater isn't wet. Could it be? Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. As expected, the surrounding lake water was repelled by the remaining invisible force field in the Venerable One's relic. Just like that, this was a pure land in the underwater world at the bottom of the lake. Not even a drop of water could enter. Without the array, we wouldn't be able to enter the Origin Core ruins. Sang Yue's eyes twinkled as she looked at the deep blue water above the crater. The three then found their own places to comprehend in the crater. Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye and scanned the entire crater. Finally, he came to a conclusion. This area with a radius of more than 10 miles was created by a shocking palm power. If there really is such a terrifying power, then the sovereign hidden dragon realm would be able to destroy the Broken Moon clan in just a few breaths. The defensive array of the sky, Moon Mountain, wouldn't be able to stop it. Zhao Feng took in a cold breath. The outline of fingerprints and palm prints could be vaguely seen in the hole with a radius of more than 10 miles. Added together, it was a complete palm. This was a palm that covered the heavens. Zhao Feng finally understood why sovereigns at the Origin Core realm were almost extinct in the continent. Existences at this level controlled the ultimate power to destroy the world. Every one of them that appeared was a forbidden existence. Zhao Feng's figure barely passed through the crater as he scanned his surroundings with his god's spiritual eye. Soon, he found a tattered futon, and the aura around it was even stronger. Zhao Feng circulated his bloodline power and barely managed to get close to the futon. Closing his eyes, Zhao Feng felt as if there was a heaven-shaking roar in his world. The lake water was churning, and the palm power was like a dragon leaving the abyss. Of course, everyone's comprehension was different. He felt the remnant intent in the crater as well as the invisible force field. This ruins should be the place where the sovereign hidden dragon clan cultivated. He didn't know why, but the intent here hadn't disappeared after thousands of years, and it even formed an invisible force field. With Zhao Feng's level, he couldn't understand the mysteries of the heaven and earth. This energy doesn't seem like water, wind, or lightning. Yet, it's capable of controlling water, fire, and lightning. Zhang Xin murmured. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. When comprehending the intent in the crater, different scenes would appear in his mind. Zhao Feng found that the power that the sovereign hidden dragon clan grasped was different from others. It didn't belong to a single element, but it could control water, wind, and lightning. In order to gain a deeper comprehension, Zhao Feng circulated his god's spiritual eye, and the scenes in his world became clearer and more intense. In the scenes, the river flipped and waves rose to the sky. Amidst the roars, there was a noble aura that threatened all beings. Water and wind could be controlled with his thoughts. Between the clouds, there seemed to be a dragon-shaped shadow that was soaring through the 9 heavens. This aura almost caused the bloodline power in Zhao Feng's body to be blocked, and he seemed excited. Could it be that the sovereign hidden dragon clan also has an ancient bloodline, and his name has the word dragon in it? Hidden dragon? Zhao Feng had many guesses in his heart. Meow meow. The little thieving cat appeared and sat on Zhao Feng's shoulder. Its black eyes looked around and seemed to understand something. At this point in time, Zhao Feng, Song Yue, and Lin Tong all fell into a profound state. Amongst them, Zhao Feng mainly comprehended the lightning manipulation intent and the height of the origin core realm. This was especially so for the lightning control profundity. Some of its essence was even more profound than the first floor of the lightning inheritance. Unknowingly, Zhao Feng's comprehension of the lightning inheritance increased by leaps and bounds. Some parts that he normally couldn't comprehend were now easily comprehended. His lightning wind palm had reached the pinnacle of the 6th level, and he had also improved by leaps and bounds as he comprehended it. Time passed by quickly. The three had only been in the ruins for half a day. At this point in time, 4 hours had already passed. Above the dragon-concealing lake, the abyss had been covered by the whirlpool, and everything was calm. The people above the lake and on the island couldn't see what was happening below. Because the alliance banquet had ended, many members of the clan were retreating. Chiao! Right at this moment, an aura at the true spirit realm flew through the air. The newcomer was an elder of the Cloud Sword clan, and he seemed to be in a hurry. Reporting to Grand Elder, the situation isn't good. The elder of the Cloud Word sect said anxiously. What happened? The silver-haired swordsman said expressionlessly. Half a month ago, the Iron Dragon Strong country defeated the Sky Rich country. 2 of the Sky Rich country's 7 clans have been destroyed, and 3 have surrendered. Amongst them, the number 1 clan, the Sky Wind Pavilion, has been destroyed. What? The Sky Rich country lost? The Sky Wind Pavilion was destroyed? The upper echelon and elders of the 13 clans exclaimed in shock. Everyone understood what the Iron Dragon Strong country destroying the Sky Rich country meant. Chapter 242. This grievous news shook the upper echelons of the 13 clans. Even the expressions of those at the true spirit realm, who had always remained calm, changed. Everyone knew. The 13 countries had always lived between the cracks of the 2 strong countries. The war between the 2 strong countries was actually a reflection of the clan world. Once the balance was lost between the 2 countries, it would definitely affect the 13 countries of Cloud. The Broken Moon clan side was also shocked. The Sky-Rich Strong Country and the Iron Dragon Strong Country have always been evenly matched. How could there be such a change in such a short amount of time? The Great Elder was unprecedentedly serious, his expression worried. To the 13 countries, the two great powers were colossal existences. Their territories were vast, and their sex influence was even greater. The Sky Wind Pavilion is the head of the Sky-Rich 7 clans, and the #1 clan in the Sky-Rich Strong Country. They have 3 or 4 true mystic rank experts and have a long history. How could this be? The Broken Moon clan master's expression changed in disbelief. The #1 clan in the Sky-Rich Country, the Sky Wind Pavilion, could single-handedly destroy the 13 clans and was more than 10 times stronger than the Broken Moon clan. It was hard to believe that such a powerful clan had been destroyed in such a short amount of time. What happened in the faraway battlefield? What help did the Iron Dragon Strong Country have? How did they defeat the Sky-Rich Country? Questions appeared in the minds of the upper echelons of the 13 clans. According to some news, there seems to be remnants of the Scarlet Moon religion interfering in the faraway battlefield. Recently, the Sky-Rich Country has asked for help from the 13 clans. May I ask, Grand Elders? The Cloud Word Sect Elder that reported the news asked with an inquiring tone. The 3 true mystic ranks stood at the peak of the Sky Cloud Forest and had the power to decide the fate of the 13 clans. Furthermore, the upper echelons of the 13 clans were all present. With the 3 true mystic ranks at the front, the elders and upper echelons of the 13 clans slowly gathered together. Once the Iron Dragon Strong Country destroys the Sky-Rich Country, their next target will be the 13 clans. If the 13 clans team up and help the Sky-Rich Country, we might be able to turn the situation around. The remnants of the Scarlet Moon religion probably aren't simple. For safety's sake, it's best if we ask the Northern Continent's sacred land for help. The upper echelons of the 13 clans discussed. Halfway through, someone suddenly said, "The Iron Dragon Strong Country seems to have sent people over to spectate." The words immediately attracted the attention of the upper echelons of the 13 sects. A group of people from the Iron Dragon Great Country sat quietly in the spectator stands far away with mocking expressions. Among them, an elegant woman wearing a silver mask stood up and chuckled. 13 sect alliances, it's time to decide your fate. Choose to submit to the Iron Dragon Country or destroy the country. The clear and indifferent voice came from the mysterious person shrouded in a black veil and bamboo hat. The silver-masked woman and the mysterious black-veiled person stood side by side and gave off a chi of true spirit that seemed to connect with heaven and earth. True mystic rank. The upper echelons of the 13 sects were shocked. He didn't think that there would be 2 true mystic ranks amongst the spectators from the Iron Dragon Country. The aura of the silver-masked woman was on par with the 3 true mystic ranks of the 13 clans. The black-veiled person's aura was even more profound and suppressed the 3 true mystic ranks. At the same time, the representatives from the Iron Dragon Country all released their auras. There were 10 to 20 at the True Spirit Realm, and the rest were either at the 7th Sky or Half-Step True Spirit Realm. The 13 Sect Alliance was shocked at first before they let out cold laughter. "Oomph, you dare to threaten the 13 clans with just this amount of people? Hee hee. You're only sending 2 true mystic ranks? Aren't you afraid of being wiped out?" Indeed, the upper echelons of the 13 clans were present, and there were many middle and upper echelons present. In terms of the middle and upper echelons, there were more than a third of the 13 clans. Adding on the elite disciples present, there were several hundred. Compared to them, the Iron Dragon Country was much weaker. Is that so? The black-veiled person laughed lightly and held a black flag in her hand. Shwa! With a wave of the black flag, 8 beams of black light shot into the sky and enveloped the entire island. The next instant, a few black spots appeared in the clouds around the dragon-concealing lake, suffused with a trace of blood. These black dots shot through the air towards the island. That's The experts at the true spirit realm heard the sound of the air flying. In just a few breaths' time, those black dots grew larger, and they turned out to be giant blood-colored eagles. Every single one of them was dozens of meters wide, and they were like a blood cloud that carried 10 to 20 people. There was a total of 18 blood-colored eagles like this, and each of them had at least one expert at the true spirit realm guarding them. Giant blood cloud eagles. Are these the birds that the Scarlet Moon demonic religion bred? The 9 clans of the Iron Dragon country. You're really colluding with the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The 13 clans roared in anger. The black-veiled person and silver-masked woman from the Iron Dragon country snickered in disdain. They had been watching the show from the start of the 13 clans banquet. Their aim was obvious: to stop the 13 clans from supporting the Sky Rich country. Instead of defending against these clowns, why don't we attack first? This alliance banquet is the perfect chance to wipe them all out. The experts on the Iron Dragon country's side revealed vicious smiles. The leader, the mysterious black-masked man, slowly raised the black flag in his hand and said in a loud voice, "10-sect alliance, I'll give you one last chance. Surrender or seek your own destruction." The scene was dead silent. From the current situation, it seemed that the Iron Dragon country and the 13 clans were similar in strength. What are you scared of? Let's kill our way out and gather more forces. That's right. At least we have one more true mystic rank than them. The upper echelon of the 13 clans communicated with each other and reached an agreement. The 13 sects were an alliance to begin with, and they had worked together many times to fight against their enemies. Kill. The true spirit realm experts of the 13 clans charged towards the Iron Dragon country. In an instant, the auras of the true spirit realm shot through the air and sent streaks of light across the sky. A battle that belonged to the world of sects suddenly erupted. Attack! The black-veiled person snickered coldly and waved the black flag. The people from the Iron Dragon country, standing behind him, didn't move. Suddenly, arg! Cries of agony could be heard from the 13 sections. Among the alliance members, there were actually quite a few figures who attacked their fellow sect members, as well as other sections. What's going on? The upper echelon of the 13 clans were dazed. The Broken Moon clan side were also stunned. Watch out for spies. First Elder reacted. However, as soon as he said this, the upper echelon of the Broken Moon clan also attacked. The one leading the attack was none other than Haiyan Master. Haiyan, the Broken Moon clan master groaned as blood leaked from the corner of her mouth. With a pung, she was in the back by Haiyan Master. Along with Haiyan Master were several middle-level vice heads and deacons. Similar situations occurred in the other sections. Every sect had a small number of spies, and they all made their moves. This wasn't the worst part. Most clans didn't have many traitors. The most terrifying was the betrayal of the upper echelon of the ancient shrine. The Grand Elder of the ancient shrine, the bewitching purple-haired youth, had a red mole on his forehead that faintly twitched. A dark red lightning snake flashed across his fingertip, bringing with it a mysterious power that shocked the soul as it struck the Grand Elder of the Cloud Sword clan. The Grand Elder of the Cloud Sword clan, the silver-haired swordsman, was ambushed and blood leaked from the corner of his mouth. The other clans were shocked. The entire ancient shrine had betrayed the alliance. A bunch of stupid ants. The ancient shrine was a subdivision of the Scarlet Moon religion several hundred years ago. The time has come, and the patriarch is about to revive, and the Scarlet Moon religion will return to the continent. The purple-haired youth's face was full of mockery. As the red mole on his forehead twitched, a weird mental energy undulation spread out. Who knew what evil technique he had used? But the eyes of many Alliance experts turned red as they started to kill each other. The entire island at the center of the lake fell into a massacre. The 13 clans were in chaos, and before they could adjust, the Iron Dragon country had surrounded them. Don't spare a single one. Kill them all. The mysterious leader waved the black flag in his hand. The origin core ruins at the bottom of the lake. Zhao Feng, Song Yuyue, and Lin Tong were all immersed in comprehension. The intent of the Origin Core ruins contained many mysteries, and even Song Yuyue, who trained in the Tao of the Sword, had gained a lot from it. On the other hand, Zhao Feng had comprehended the intent of the lightning inheritance. As time passed, his aura started to rise. On one hand, it was because of his comprehension, which made his mental energy stronger. On the other hand, the remaining energy from the shedding spiritual pill was brewing, pushing his body to evolve and convert his true force. At a certain moment, arcs of lightning surrounded Zhao Feng's body like a spiderweb. The layers of electric arcs formed a light blue electric shield around him. This is the electric arc shield. Any object or attack that gets close to me will be turned into ashes by the electric arc. Zhao Feng had a smile on his face. His comprehension of the lightning barrier meant that he had reached the high level of the first level of the lightning inheritance. At the same time, with the help of the Origin Core ruins, Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm had reached the 7th level. Crackle! Zhao Feng clenched his hand, and an azure bolt of lightning as thick as an index finger appeared in his palm, crackling with lightning. Boom! The green lightning transformed into a waterfall and blasted a 10-meter-wide scorched pit in the distance. Wisps of black smoke rose from the place where it had been. And my cultivation is about there. Zhao Feng felt the true force in his body increase to the 7th sky of the ascended realm. At this point in time, his cultivation had reached the 7th sky. Hee, I've benefited a lot. Zhao Feng smiled and nodded his head. Meow meow. The little thieving cat on his shoulder shook its head at Zhao Feng as it tossed the bronze coin. What's going on? Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat's minds were connected, and he could confirm if there was any bad news. He immediately activated his god's spirit eye, and his gaze pierced through the deep blue water above his head. He saw the blurry scene above the dragon concealing lake. Why is it like this? Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically. Cold sweat appeared on his forehead as a chill spread through his body. Chapter 243. The scene in front of him caused Zhao Feng's heart to shake, and he would never forget it. Above the island, the clouds would occasionally explode. The clash between the true mystic ranks sent waves of air in every direction. In midair, the battle between the true human rank and true human rank caused ripples of light to intertwine and occasionally explode, creating a storm that ripped some of the disciples of the ascended realm into pieces. On the ground, the representative disciples of the 13 clans ran in fear as they were chased by the other forces. In just a few breaths, Zhao Feng had seen several representative disciples that he had fought with at the Alliance banquet being slaughtered. Although the Iron Dragon country didn't have many people, the weakest of them were at the 6th sky of the Ascended Realm, and the majority were at the 7th sky. Furthermore, each and every one of these slaughterers were battle-hardened. They were experienced, and their methods were ruthless. So, these cultivators came from the battlefield of the strong countries, and the battle was even fiercer. Under the same cultivation, one person could fight 2 disciples of the 13 clans. For some reason, the 13 clans were in chaos, and they couldn't gather their strength. Most importantly, the battle between the true mystic ranks was also stopped by the 13 clans. Due to the betrayal of the Grand Elder of the Ancient Shrine, the 13 clans only had 2 true mystic ranks, and the Grand Elder of the Cloud Sword clan had been injured. At this moment in time, the purple-haired man and silver-masked woman from the Ancient Shrine suppressed the Grand Elders of the Cloud Sword clan and Mystic True clan. As for the mysterious black-veiled leader, he floated in the middle of the battlefield and commanded the battle. He would occasionally attack and kill an expert at the True Spirit Realm. Suddenly, the Black Veil leader became the soul of the Iron Dragon country. While controlling the overall situation, he also had the power to decide who lived and who died. The 13 clans fell into a disadvantage step by step and started to fight their own battles. At the bottom of the lake, the Origin Core ruins, Zhao Feng took a deep breath and soon regained his calmness. His god's spiritual I suddenly discovered that a group of people were breaking out of the encirclement in his direction. That group was the Broken Moon Clan. Of course, the Broken Moon Clan was also being chased, and High Master was among them. As they ran, the First Elder and Granny Luiwa looked furious and helpless. The First Elder's gaze would occasionally sweep in the direction of the Venerable Realm's ruins. Looks like Master wants to save me along the way. Zhao Feng's heart was filled with gratitude and warmth. In such a disadvantageous situation, everyone was in danger. It was normal for members of the same sect to leave others in the lurch in order to escape. Seeing this, Zhao Feng did not hesitate anymore. The blood meridians in his body vibrated, and his true power flowed like lightning, and the sound of thunder could be heard. Instantly, his aura rose, and he had reached the seventh sky of the Ascended Realm. Using the remnant medicinal energy of the shedding spiritual pill, Zhao Feng's advancement was completed. At the same time, he sent a message to Tsang Yuyue. When Tsang Yuyue heard the bad news, her heart shook and the sword intent in her eyes turned cold. She originally had some doubts, but when her eyes met the God's spiritual eye, all doubts disappeared. After comprehending the seed of the sword intent, she had a faint premonition of danger. Moreover, the battle above the concealing dragon lake was not small. Even at the bottom of the lake, she could still sense it. Let's kill our way out. Zhao Feng and Tsang Yuyue exchanged glances before diving into the water and flying towards the surface. As for Lin Tong, he hid in a corner of the ruins and didn't dare stop Zhao Feng and Tsang Yuyue. Because of the danger, Zhao Feng didn't have the time to find Lin Tong, so he charged towards the surface with Tsang Yuyue. Just as they came out of the water, the people of the Broken Moon Clan arrived. It was obvious that Zhao Feng had calculated everything. Feng Er, First Elder and Granny Luiwa were overjoyed. The rescue plan was much smoother than they had imagined. Zhao Feng had charged out to meet up with the clan. Zhao Feng scanned the situation and saw that the Broken Moon Clan had lost more than half of their forces. High Master had betrayed them, and the clan master had been heavily injured before being chased by the Iron Dragon country. Of the 10 core disciples, Quan Chun, Yuan Ji, and Bei Moi had betrayed them with High Master. At this moment, 3 cultivators at the True Spirit Realm had led 20 or so people to chase after the Broken Moon Clan. Chiu, an azure bolt of lightning as thick as a thumb condensed in Zhao Feng's palm and killed a pursuer at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm. What a powerful attack! The eyes of those from the Broken Moon Clan lit up. It looked like Zhao Feng had comprehended something in the Origin Core ruins, and his strength had increased. On the other hand, the killing intent on High Master's face became thicker. Feng Er, don't fight. First Elder was overjoyed as he warned. In the current situation, the 13 clans were the targets to be slaughtered. If this side was too strong, it would attract more pressure. Zhao Feng nodded his head, and the azure lightning in his palm turned into thin arcs of lightning that flashed behind him. Ha! The arcs of lightning spread out and exploded. The pursuers behind felt their bodies go numb and their speed decrease. Zhao Feng, I'm going to meet up with the people from the clan. Tsang Yuyue said her goodbyes. The people from the Cloud Sword clan were several miles away. Under normal circumstances, the distance wasn't far. But under the current situation, it seemed extremely long. Tsang Yuyue, if you go with us, your chances of escaping will be doubled. Furthermore, the Cloud Sword clan is the top clan, and they're being chased several times more than us. Zhao Feng advised with good intentions. Thank you for your goodwill. Tsang Yuyue's face was filled with determination, and the sword intent in her eyes became sharper. Zhao Feng sighed. He knew that Tsang Yuyue had her own beliefs, and she wouldn't be shaken. Even if there was a sliver of hope, she would meet up with the clan. Jiang. Tsang Yuyue unsheathed her sword, and with one slash, she had instantly killed 2 cultivators at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm before flying towards the Cloud Sword clan. Her performance instantly attracted the attention of an expert at the True Spirit Realm from the Iron Dragon country, and he quickly chased after her. Tsang Yuyue wasn't afraid and continued to fly in a straight line. Seeing the expert at the true spirit realm chasing after her, she slashed out with her sword, and the aura of her sword intent merged into her sword, causing a silver crack to appear in the clouds. However, no matter how strong her attacks were, she was still injured after blocking an attack from someone at the true spirit realm. Luckily, the Cloud Sword clan noticed Song Yue and immediately came over. In the end, Song Yue almost died under the pursuit of the expert at the true spirit realm. But because of this, the Cloud Sword clan attracted even more firepower, and their path of escape became more difficult. The Broken Moon clan wasn't the focus of the pursuit, and although they had already reached the outskirts, they couldn't shake off the pursuers behind them. The speed of those at the true spirit realm was extremely fast, and it was destined that they wouldn't be able to shake them off. First Elder and Granny Luiwe teamed up and barely managed to block the attacks of 3 experts of the true spirit realm, but it was still extremely tiring. Haiyan Master tried to kill Zhao Feng several times, but failed every time. On one hand, Zhao Feng's speed was extremely fast, and his newly comprehended lightning barrier had high defense. Furthermore, with Zhao Feng's current strength, he could exchange 1 or 2 moves with experts at the true human rank and barely protect himself. On the other hand, First Elder and the Vice Heads at the half-step true spirit realm all paid attention to protecting Zhao Feng. The Grand Elder secretly transmitted his voice to the few Vice Hall Masters. Even if all of us die, we must protect Feng Er's life. As long as he's able to escape, he'll definitely take revenge for us in the future. Although Zhao Feng didn't know what First Elder's message was, he could guess it from the fact that the clan was protecting him. First Elder, if you want to protect the lives of the younger generation, you'll die together with them. Haiyan Master said coldly. First Elder's strength was one of the stronger ones at the true human rank. If he ran by himself, he wouldn't be in danger as long as he didn't face the pursuit of others at the same cultivation. Don't even think about it. First Elder obviously knew what Haiyan Master was trying to do, so he sent out a palm that pushed Haiyan Master back. However, in the exchange of true spirit realm experts, the Broken Moon clan would occasionally suffer injuries. Zhao Feng regained his calmness and opened his god's spiritual eye. He would kill a cultivator at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm or heavily injure a cultivator at the half-step true spirit realm. His actual battle power was stronger than normal cultivators at the half-step true spirit realm. Master, let me lead the way, Zhao Feng suddenly suggested. His god's spiritual eye flashed with a sharp azure light that pierced through the clouds like an eagle. Okay. The Great Elder gave him a deep look. In reality, under this situation, the Broken Moon clan didn't have a clear path of escape. But everyone chose to believe in Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye could see very far, and even through some things that weren't very thick. Northwest. Zhao Feng was responsible for leading the way. There were only 3 directions of escape: west, northwest, and southwest. In the northwest direction, there was a small group of enemies. The west and southwest seemed to be sparsely populated. Those from the Broken Moon clan were puzzled. On the other hand, the 2 experts at the true spirit realm behind them revealed weird expressions. In reality, the west and southwest seemed to be even more dangerous. This was especially so for the west. Although there seemed to be no one there, there were 2 experts at the true human rank there. If they suddenly attacked, they could kill another elder of the Broken Moon clan. The southwest direction that Zhao Feng chose had a group of people that included 2 at the half-step true spirit realm and 10 at the 6th and 7th sky of the Ascended Realm. This group was at the edge of the battlefield and was responsible for clearing out the remaining enemies. Although they were less dangerous than the other 2 groups, it was still a big test for the Broken Moon clan. Wind lightning destruction. Zhao Feng's body was surrounded by azure lightning as he charged towards the group in front of him, and even left the Broken Moon clan's group. Zhe, that brat's crazy. He saw that we're here, and he's still charging over. The 2 experts of the half-step true spirit realm were slightly surprised. With the strength of their group, a casual attack from each of them could turn Zhao Feng into dust. 100 yards, 80 yards, 60 yards. Zhao Feng quickly closed in. From both sides, Leaving the clan's group was a risky move. 20 yards. Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with a soul-shaking light, and he roared, sending a wave of mental energy sound toward the group of people. Not good. The expressions of the two experts at the half-step true spirit realm changed dramatically as their blood shook. Plop, plop. The two experts at the sixth and seventh sky at the very front started to bleed from their orifices and fell to the ground. The others who weren't prepared were also affected and almost fell to the ground. And this was just the beginning. The true nightmare had just begun. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.